This is the part 3 of the novel. For other parts, please refer to the description of this video or the video list on the channel. Chapter 40, Huang Shua takes advantage. Huang director, are you kidding me? Is this small matter worth such a fuss? Gu Xinqing smiled faintly. Xinqing Group and European Entertainment have had some simple cooperation before. Although Gu Xinqing herself hasn't had much contact with the head of European Entertainment, it's not to the extent of becoming enemies. Huang Shua's tone suddenly became serious. Kidding? Who's kidding you? Do you have the qualification to joke with me? Gu Xinqing's expression also turned cold, speaking seriously. Alright, then please propose a solution. Xinqing Group will take full responsibility for this matter. Huang Shua nodded with a smile. Alright, the artist Xiaoyu breached the contract and needs to compensate us 10 times the loss. Gu Xinqing said, Xiaoyu's endorsement fee is 5 million, so 10 times would be 50 million. That's right, 50 million, not a penny less. Huang Shua nodded. Tian Xiaoye spoke up, Director Huang, the cooperation agreement I signed with Xinqing Group was just preliminary. I haven't received any money, so it doesn't have legal effect. Huang Shua said, Are you telling me about the law? Xinqing Group has already announced Tian Xiaoye as the product endorser, which is an established fact and has caused image damage to the company. Gu Xinqing spoke, Director Huang, I propose a solution to minimize the losses for both sides. Xiaoye continues as the endorser, and Xinqing Group will sign a new endorsement contract with European Entertainment. We are willing to offer a 10 million endorsement fee, along with a public apology to your company. Huang Shu shook his head. Gu Xinqing, are you dreaming? Haven't even considered it. Do you insist on going to court? Gu Xinqing's face paled with anger. Huang Shua shrugged, doesn't matter, after the lawsuit, I will blacklist Tian Xiaoye first. I want to see how Xinqing Group can handle it. You shameless. Gu Xinqing's face turned pale with anger. Once the lawsuit starts, Xinqing Group's new product will be affected. Even if they win the lawsuit eventually, they will lose the market and numerous users. Huang Shua sat back on the sofa, arrogantly stating, 75 million, not a penny less. Tian Xiaoye said, Thank you, President Gu, but this matter was my decision, I'll take responsibility myself. No. Gu Xinqing shook her head, this started because of me, I will take responsibility to the end, even if it means going to court. Wu Feng, who had been silent, spoke up, What are you arguing about? This guy is just extorting money. What did you say? Huang Shua stood up abruptly. Wu Feng said, Xinqing Group is thriving, and top-tier artist Xiaoye becoming an endorser is a strong collaboration. I really can't think of any reason why European Entertainment would reject this collaboration. Unless, you, this scoundrel, sabotaged it. Wu Feng's words suddenly enlightened Gu Xinqing and Tian Xiaoye clearly, it's a strong collaboration, so why refuse? Huang Shua stood up abruptly, pointing at Wu Feng, what are you? Do you have the right to speak here? Wu Feng retorted, and who are you? Just a mere director, can you make decisions alone? You. Huang Shua paused. Wu Feng continued, ask your President O to meet with our President Gu, whether it's to go to court or negotiate, let's discuss it face to face. Take us to see President O, Director Huang. Gu Xinqing suddenly realized. Huang Shua is just a director at most. The real decision maker is the president of the group. Our President O is in the hospital taking care of her daughter. As for the matters in the company, I'm the one in charge. Huang Shua spoke harshly, feeling a bit flustered inside. He had been doing these things behind President O's back. Once she finds out, he might not be treated well. It's necessary to cut off the cooperation between the two companies first, Wu Feng said, so it turns out there's a monkey pretending to be the king in the mountain. Huang Shua's neck turned red with urgency, shut your filthy mouth. If President O finds out about this, I'll be in trouble too. Wu Feng sneered, I think it's you who's deceiving and scheming, and you'll be the one in trouble. Nonsense, everything I did was for your own good, don't bring trouble upon yourself. Huang Shua blurted out in panic. Thank you for your concern, please contact your superior immediately. Wu Feng's tone was firm. He can now conclude that Huang Shua never intended to negotiate properly from the beginning, he was intentionally causing trouble. Huang Shua questioned, Gu Xinqing, have you considered the consequences of what you're doing? President O is very busy. Gu Xinqing firmly replied, I've considered it thoroughly. If you don't contact President O, we'll reach out to her ourselves. Fine, I'll call her right now, and you'll see what happens. Huang Shuo immediately took out his phone and left the room. He dialed a number in the hallway, pretending to make a call. Hello, President O. Yes, I understand, you're busy. Huang Shuo hung up, a wicked smile playing on his lips. Dealing with Gu Xinqing won't be easy. It's best to send her away first. Once he deals with Tian Xiaoye tonight, it'll be over. No matter how capable Gu Xinqing is, she can't cause any waves. Huang Shuo leisurely walked back into his office. Our president said she'll meet you at the company tomorrow morning to discuss this matter. Alright, we'll see you tomorrow then. Gu Xinqing took Wu Feng's hand and walked out. After leaving, Gu Xinqing went straight to the restroom. Wu Feng stayed behind. Tian Xiaoye hadn't come out yet, and she was worried. In the office, Tian Xiaoye picked up her bag and left. Wait. Huang Shuo leaned back in his chair, crossing his legs. Director Huang. Tian Xiaoye smiled faintly. Xiaoye, this matter can be big or small, do you understand? Huang Shu shook his head. I'm not quite clear. Tian Xiaoye shook her head. Huang Shu shook his head again, then got up and walked in front of Tian Xiaoye. President O was very angry on the phone. If she wasn't at the hospital taking care of her daughter, you would have been in big trouble today. I can suppress this matter for you, or help you withstand President O's anger. Xinqing Group doesn't need to compensate, but there's no such thing as a free lunch in this world. Tian Xiaoye felt the danger and instinctively stepped back. Director Huang, what do you mean? Huang Shuo smiled and took out a room card from his pocket. Victory Gate Hotel, I'll be waiting for you tonight. Tian Xiaoye's expression changed. You. Huang Shuo said, from now on, I'll cover for you. No one in the group dares to bully you, and President O will listen to me, understand? Tian Xiaoye didn't speak, her big eyes glaring angrily at him. Huang Shuo said, why are you glaring at me? The unwritten rules of the industry are like this. Not everyone has such an opportunity. Tian Xiaoye shook her head, firmly saying, I won't accept these dirty rules. I'd rather be blacklisted by you. Huang Shuo said, Xiaoye, are you crazy? Do you know what you're saying? The task I have for you is simple, terminate the contract with Xinqing Group. Then, accompany me tonight, and tomorrow I'll make you the endorser for the bus group. Tian Xiaoye didn't say a word, just turned and left. You stop right there. Huang Shuo grabbed her arm. Bang! Almost simultaneously, Wu Feng burst in through the door. Without a word, he went straight to Huang Shuo and kicked him to the ground. Wu Feng spoke, you damn turtle grandson, I've long suspected there was something wrong with you, didn't expect you to be working for Wang Bus. Bastard, dare to hit me? You won't walk out of this building. Huang Shuo took out his phone to call someone, but President O's call came in. Chapter 41, so you're Mr. Oh, after all. Huang Shuo was bewildered. Wu Feng and that Gu Xinqing had clearly left, so why had they returned? Why was Mr. O suddenly calling? Wasn't she supposed to be in the hospital taking care of her daughter? With trembling hands, Huang Shuo answered the phone. Smiling, Huang Shuo asked, Mr. Oh, how is your daughter doing? Mr. O replied, my daughter has been discharged. I'm preparing to return to the company to handle an important matter. Huang Shuo wiped the cold sweat from his forehead, relieved, Mr. Oh, are you aware of the breach of contract by the artist Xiaoye? I've seen the news, Mr. O replied. This matter, it's all due to my personal negligence. I feel deeply ashamed, Huang Shuo confessed. Mr. O dismissed it, it's a trivial matter. I'll be at the company soon. We'll discuss it then. Alright, you're busy, I'll hang up. Huang Shuo hurriedly ended the call. After picking himself up from the ground, Huang Shuo felt invigorated, his posture straightened. The two of you, one breaches a contract, the other resorts to violence. With Mr. O's return, you both are in trouble. Tian Xiaoye said. It was my fault for breaching the contract, it has nothing to do with him, Gu Xinqing said. Wu Feng retorted, what's it to you if I hit you? I'm just dealing with a lackey like you. Huang Shuo, undaunted by Wu Feng's intimidation, retorted, go ahead, insult or hit me, dare you to kill me? Alright. Wu Feng raised his fist, but Tian Xiaoye quickly stopped him. Feng, he's deliberately provoking you, don't get worked up, she advised. Humph. Huang Shua snorted disdainfully, straightened his collar, and briskly left the office, heading downstairs. Outside the company's entrance, a Bentley Mulsanne slowly pulled up. Huang Shua eagerly approached and swiftly opened the rear door. Mr. Oh, please be careful. A woman dressed in a white suit, carrying a Chanel handbag, stepped out of the car. Two black bodyguards closely followed behind. As they walked, Mr. Oh inquired, "What's the situation with that artist Xiao Ye?" Huang Shua jogged behind, briefing her on the situation. Mr. Oh, Xiao Ye secretly signed with Xinqing Group without the company's knowledge, he explained. It's a serious violation of company rules. When Xinqing Group found out we terminated the contract, they came to confront us, he continued. Mr. Oh halted, looking at Huang Shua skeptically. Confronted you? Yes, Huang Shua nodded, pointing at his suit. The shoe prints are still here. Mr. Oh's expression changed. Such audacity, daring to challenge the authority of the O Entertainment? Shaking his head, Huang Shua sighed. He didn't target me personally, but the entire facade of our O Entertainment. Mr. O asserted dominantly, you are under my wing. No one dares to bully you. Take me to meet them. Mr. Oh, you're too kind to me. Huang Shua felt a warm surge in his heart, almost moved to tears. Mr. O was a very protective female CEO, usually modest in demeanor but ruthless when her people were mistreated. Huang Shua led the way, with Mr. O and the two bodyguards following behind, hastily heading to the director's office. Mr. Oh, please don't act rashly. My grievances are trivial, you shouldn't act impulsively. Huang Shua advised. The situation with Xiao Ye can still be salvaged, it hasn't reached the point of no return, he added. Please calm down. I've already figured it out. Let's directly send Xiao Ye to the Bose Group as their spokesperson, Mr. O didn't respond, entering the office directly, and demanded, who hit me? I did. Wu Feng immediately stood up. Hello, Mr. Oh, I'm Gu Xinqing from Xinqing Group. The situation is, Gu Xinqing stepped forward to greet, but was pushed aside. Is it you? Mr. Oh took off her sunglasses, exclaiming in surprise. Are you Mr. Oh, both Wu Feng and Tian Xiaoye exclaimed simultaneously. In the next moment, Mr. Oh knelt down on the ground, grabbing Wu Feng's hand excitedly. Thank you for your kindness to me and my daughter. Please accept my gratitude. Mr. Oh didn't hesitate to kowtow to Wu Feng. Please, get up quickly. Wu Feng hastily waved his hands, helping her up. Gu Xinqing was stunned. She had considered countless ways to handle the situation. She even planned for her brother to run away. Never did she expect that Mr. O would kneel down and thank Wu Feng upon entering. Gu Xinqing couldn't help but ask curiously, what's going on? Wu Feng explained to Gu Xinqing, sister, she's the mother of the child I saved on Linjiang Road. Tian Xiaoyi added, so Mru's original name is O Qing. Yes, my real name is O Qing. Mr. O clarified. O Qing was the mother who drove into the river a few days ago. After being saved by Wu Feng, she hurried to the hospital. O Qing had always wanted to repay him, but she couldn't leave the hospital while taking care of her daughter. Today, her daughter had just been discharged, so she returned to the company immediately. She thought it would take some effort to find her savior. Unexpectedly, as soon as she entered the building, she bumped into him. So that's how it is. Gu Xinqing breathed a sigh of relief, finally feeling relieved of a heavy burden. Only now did O Qing notice Gu Xinqing and asked Wu Feng, who is this? Wu Feng introduced, Mr. Oh, this is my elder sister, the chairman of Xinqing Group. Ms. Gu, hello. I was too excited just now, my apologies. O Qing turned to apologize to Gu Xinqing. Gu Xinqing smiled, since that's the case, let's not take this matter to court today. O Qing chuckled, your brother is my savior. I haven't had the chance to repay him, so why go to court? Wu Feng quickly interjected, Mr. Oh, since you're here, we must discuss these matters face to face. Alright, no problem, please sit down and speak. O Qing hurriedly got up and personally poured tea for Wu Feng. Please have some tea. Qing squatted down, serving Wu Feng with the utmost humility. Thank you. Wu Feng took the teacup. At this moment, Huang Shua standing aside was dumbfounded. His mind seemed to have short-circuited. As soon as Qing entered, she knelt down to Wu Feng, and now she even squatted down to serve him tea? Huang Shua had been in the entertainment for almost 20 years. He had never seen Qing show such respect to anyone before, feeling a strong sense of jealousy rising in his heart. Mister. Oh, didn't you just say you'd support me? You said I'm under your protection, and no one can bully me. What's the relationship between you and this man? Huang Shua was puzzled. Qing smiled. Let me correct myself. No one can bully those who belong to me. But Wu Feng is an exception, he's my benefactor. What benefactor? Didn't you say your daughter was ill, and you were taking care of her? Where did this benefactor come from? Huang Shua was bewildered. Qing smiled. Some things I don't need to tell everyone. As a director, you should focus on your own work. Qing only told her staff that she was in the hospital taking care of her daughter. She didn't mention the incident of falling into the river to anyone. Many people didn't even know that she and her daughter had experienced a life-and-death situation a few days ago. Me? Huang Shua was speechless. Wu Feng spoke up. Mr. O, as a director, you're really not up to standard. Qing replied, with one word from my benefactor, I'll have him pack up and leave immediately. Huang Shua? Chapter 42, Huang Shua's downfall, Xiao Yezi in peril. Huang Shua found himself questioning the very essence of existence. How could Mr. O, who had always treated him like a beloved younger brother, suddenly transform into a different person? Wu Feng spoke. Mr. O, I shall refrain from discussing personal relationships and instead present the facts objectively. Yes, some matters must be clarified, Tian Xiaoye chimed in. Mr. O nodded once more, stating, feel free to speak your mind. Wu Feng continued, Huang Shua is suspected of colluding with the Bus Group to undermine Heart Clear Group, and maliciously suppress Xiaoyu. Nonsense. Huang Shua interjected, there is absolutely no truth to these allegations. Immediately, Tian Xiaoye produced the room card, saying, Mr. O, Huang Shua gave this to Meihei, asked me to terminate the contract with Heart Clear Group and become the spokesperson for the Bus Group. Wu Feng interjected, speaking truthfully, with Bus Group's constant scandals and Heart Clear Group's flourishing success, it's evident to anyone with discernment. Does Huang Shua truly lack personal motives? Mr. O, who had been smiling moments before, took on a frosty demeanor upon receiving the room card. Defamation, it's unequivocally defamation. Huang Shua vigorously defended himself, though his legs had begun to tremble. Wu Feng proposed, if it's truly defamation, we can check the hotel records, fingerprints, and surveillance footage. Mr. O turned, his cold gaze fixed on Huang Shua. Surely, you are aware of the company's rules? Aye. Huang Shua stammered, wiping the cold sweat from his brow. The unwritten rule in the industry is to avoid scandals with female artists, and collaborating with outsiders to harm the company is a grave offense. Do you acknowledge this? Ru's eyes were sharp as knives. With a thud, Huang Shua dropped to his knees, tears and mucus streaming down his face. Mr. O, I implore you, spare me for the sake of our long-standing relationship. Mr. O shook his head. You told me yourself that after your sister divorced Wang Bus, you would cease all contact with him. Huang Shua shook his head frantically. Mr. O, I never intended to harm the company. It was all Wang Bus's coercion. Humph, Mr. O snorted disdainfully. Have mercy, please. Huang Shua crawled forward like a dog, clutching at Mr. O's thighs. Without hesitation, Mr. O kicked him away. Mr. O. Mr. O stood up, his expression cold as he looked down at Huang Shua. On the day of the incident, only you knew my schedule. Whom did you tell? Huang Shua trembled, feeling a warmth spreading in his trousers. Bang. 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 Huang Shua knocked his head against the floor relentlessly. Mr. Oh, I truly didn't inform Wang Bus. It was just my sister inquiring about your affairs. I mentioned it casually. My sister would never harm you. Mr. O shook his head slightly, his face devoid of emotion, as he walked slowly to the French window. Wu Feng, Xiao Ye, I beseech you, plead on my behalf to Mr. O. Huang Shuo remained kneeling, bowing his head to the two. Tian Xiaoye spoke up, in light of this, Mr. O's peril that day was not accidental. No, it's not like that, it has nothing to do with me. Huang Shuo shook his head frantically. Brother Feng, please help me say something. Wu Feng nodded, Mr. Oh, after all, Huang Shuo is a pillar of the company. Yes. Huang Shuo nodded fervently, instantly relieved. Wu Feng added, he doesn't deserve death. Breaking his legs would suffice. In an instant, Gu Xinqing's astonished gaze turned towards Wu Feng. Is this a plea for mercy? Clearly, it's a heartless execution. Mr. O nodded slowly, gesturing to the two bodyguards, take him out and break his limbs. Yes. The two black bodyguards immediately dragged Huang Shuo out of the office. Wu Feng, damn your ancestors. Are you really helping me plead for mercy? You're trying to kill me. Huang Shuo screamed wildly, realizing he could no longer plead innocence. Mr. O shouted towards the door, cut out his tongue too. Yes. The bodyguards responded promptly. In the next moment, Huang Shuo's screams echoed throughout the entire building. Ah. Have mercy. I was wrong. Shortly after, the harrowing screams of Huang Shuo subsided. Two bodyguards, covered in blood, returned to the office to report, Mr. Oh, everything has been taken care of. Mr. O nodded. As a woman, she knew that transforming O Entertainment into Qin City's premier entertainment company required firmness and tactics. After composing her emotions, Mrs. O turned to Wu Feng and the others, bowing gracefully, I apologize. O Group has caused you trouble. On behalf of O Entertainment, I extend my sincerest apologies to all three of you. Wu Feng hurriedly approached to assist Mrs. O, Mr. O, you handled it admirably. Tian Xiaoyi added, Mr. O's resilience is truly admirable. Gu Xinqing spoke up, Mr. O, about the spokesperson. Mrs. O interrupted her, Ms. Gu, rest assured, we will immediately amend the contract. O Entertainment will not charge any endorsement fees, including all future business activities and performances needed by HeartClear Group. Mr. O, is that appropriate? Gu Xinqing was pleasantly surprised. Mrs. O replied, Wu Feng saved my life. It would be inappropriate if I didn't repay you. Gu Xinqing smiled, in the future, employees of HeartClear Group can use O Entertainment's skincare products for free. Subsequently, they all adjourned to Merceau's office. The two women sat together, hand in hand, chatting like sisters. Later, O Entertainment issued a statement, Huang Shuo and Jinglan were expelled and blacklisted, confirming Xiaoyu as the spokesperson for HeartClear Group products. After the contract amendment was completed, it was already afternoon. Mrs. O invited the three of them to her home for dinner. Her words were simple, but they astounded the employees around her. Mr. O hadn't invited anyone to his home for at least 8 years. Who were these siblings from HeartClear Group? They were beyond their imagination. Wu Feng shook his head, it's not appropriate to visit your home so soon after we've met. Mrs. O laughed, Xiao Yezi has been pestering me to meet her heroic uncle. I have a duty to fulfill. Gu Xinqing also smiled, understood, we must go on this trip. After work, the siblings drove straight to the O residence. As soon as they entered the yard, the nanny rushed over in a panic, Miss, something has happened. Mrs. O's face changed, is Xiao Yezi in trouble? The nanny urgently replied, Xiao Yezi was playing on the slide in the backyard just now, and she suddenly fell down. She's lying motionless on the ground now. With those words, Mrs. O quickly rushed towards the backyard, with Wu Feng following closely behind. On the lawn, Mrs. O's daughter, Xiao Yezi, lay motionless on the ground. Don't move. Wu Feng stopped Mrs. O, quickly squatting down to check her pulse and breath. Mrs. O asked anxiously, how is Xiao Yezi? Wu Feng spoke, no breath, no pulse. In an instant, Mrs. Oh, burst into tears. Don't cry. Wu Feng said, she's not gone yet, there's still hope. Mrs. Oh, knelt on the ground, kind sir, I beg you to save Xiao Yezi. Clear a room immediately. Wu Feng said as he picked up Xiao Yezi. All right. Mrs. Oh nodded, hastily rushing into the villa. Chapter 43 The Peculiar Illness of Little Leaf, Peril on the Way Home. Eureka swiftly tidied up her daughter's room. Wu Feng then gently laid Little Leaf on the bed. Eureka silently crouched beside the bed, delicately covering her mouth with jade-like hands, tears continuously streaming down. Wu Feng retrieved a silver needle pack and promptly administered acupuncture. 1, 2, 3, 4. After the 9th needle, Little Leaf suddenly coughed. Little Leaf! Eureka exclaimed excitedly, grasping her daughter's hand. Wu Feng let out a long sigh of relief and quickly put away the silver needles. Mom, is this the great hero uncle? Little Leaf pointed at Wu Feng. Yes, indeed. Eureka nodded repeatedly, tears streaming down her face. Great hero uncle, may I hug you? Little Leaf asked, revealing 2 adorable dimples of course. Wu Feng smiled, lifting Little Leaf into his arms. Little Leaf exclaimed, Yuri! Yuri! Wu Feng echoed. Great hero uncle, my name is Yuri. Little Leaf declared. Oh? Wu Feng paused. Eureka chuckled through her tears, her name is Yuri. What a unique name. Wu Feng smiled. Eureka shook her head, it's a name my father randomly gave her back then, best not to dwell on it. Mom, why are you crying? Little Leaf broke free from Wu Feng's embrace, running to her mother and carefully handing her a tissue. Mom is just very happy, thank you, Little Leaf. Eureka patted her daughter's head affectionately, gently wiping away her tears with the tissue. Miss, is Little Leaf awake? The nanny whispered from the doorway. It's all right, no need to worry. Eureka replied softly. That's good, that's good. The nanny nodded repeatedly. Turning to the nanny, Wu Feng asked, has Little Leaf eaten sweets? The nanny hesitated for a moment before replying. In the afternoon, Little Leaf's classmate's mother brought a piece of cake. She only took a bite. Any problems? Eureka inquired. In the future, refrain from sweets. Wu Feng hesitated. Eureka hurriedly suggested, Little Leaf, go play with Auntie while I have a private chat with the great hero brother. Okay, but you two aren't allowed to play games behind my back. Little Leaf spoke in a childish tone. All right, Mom promises. Eureka smiled warmly. Little Leaf obediently left the room with the nanny. Eureka closed the door and spoke up, Benefactor, was there something you couldn't say earlier? Wu Feng nodded, the illness of Little Leaf's, it's not the first time, is it? Yes. Eureka nodded, tearfully recounting, every so often, she faints suddenly. After about half an hour, she wakes up suddenly, everything normal. Wu Feng continued. Yes, yes, yes. Eureka nodded repeatedly, tears shimmering in her eyes. Wu Feng sighed. Eureka knelt down again, clutching Wu Feng's hands. Benefactor, do you have a way to save Little Leaf? Eureka, please rise. Wu Feng quickly helped her up. But Eureka refused to budge. You won't rise, then I won't say. Wu Feng declared. Upon hearing this, Eureka immediately stood up. Wu Feng said, this illness is extremely rare, I've only read about it in ancient texts, it's called hemocurse. I need some time to prepare the herbs, perhaps I can cure her illness and help her through this ordeal. Eureka hurriedly asked, how long? What herbs do you need? Wu Feng stood up, at least half a month, possibly 3 months. During this time, avoid sweets. Understood, I'll remember. Eureka nodded. She quickly took out a gold card from her bag and handed it to Wu Feng. This Euro-style gold card is for you. With it in Qin City, all Euro-style entertainment businesses will give you the green light. Wu Feng shook his head, no need, sourcing herbs isn't difficult for me. No. Eureka shook her head, originally, I intended to give you this after dinner. This is my small token of gratitude to you. If you refuse, I'll just write you a check. Respectfully accepting your gesture, I'll take it. I'll do my utmost for Little Leaf. Wu Feng promptly tucked the card into his pocket. You've worked hard. Eureka said. By the way, don't mention this matter to anyone else, including your nanny. Wu Feng added. Alright, I'll remember. Eureka nodded again, wiping away her tears. Then, they left the room together. After changing her clothes, Eureka personally prepared dinner in the kitchen. Wu Feng went to the living room to play with Little Leaf, unusually joyful. The nanny remarked, "It's the first time I've seen Little Leaf so close to a man." Guxin Xinqing discerned the unspoken implications, Little Leaf's father. The nanny sighed, Little Leaf's father was gone before she was born. Miss has raised her all these years. Not easy for a woman to run a company and raise a child. Guxin Xinqing sighed. Auntie Zhang, come help. Eureka's voice came from the kitchen. The nanny hurried to the kitchen to serve the dishes. Soon, a table of delicious dishes was ready. They ate and chatted until late into the night. When they left, Little Leaf was still reluctant to part. Great hero uncle, when will you play with me again? When uncle isn't busy, I'll come to play with you. Wu Feng squatted down, patting her head. Okay, we pinky promise. Little Leaf extended her little finger. Alright. Wu Feng promised, linking his pinky with the little girl's. The siblings got into the car and quickly left the Euro villa. On the way, Guxin Xinqing checked her phone and browsed local news. Oh my, so much news? What news? Wu Feng asked. Guxin Xinqing said, the bus group has another scandal, a treasurer embezzled funds and jumped off a building. This time, the bus group is probably beyond redemption. Wu Feng shook his head. Reap what you sow, no pity deserved. Guxin Xinqing nodded. You're right. Wu Feng agreed. As the car passed through a suburban intersection, two Toyota Land Cruisers suddenly rushed over from the side. Boom! The two cars sandwiched a Range Rover, flipping it over. The Range Rover rolled 360 degrees, landing with the engine off. The airbags in the car all deployed, and the dashboard kept beeping. Sister Chang. Wu Feng reached out and pushed Guxin Xinqing. At this moment, Guxin Xinqing, sitting in the passenger seat, had already fallen into unconsciousness. Wu Feng kicked open the door and got out of the car. He circled to the passenger side, opened the door, and lifted Gux. In Xinqing out at this moment, the two Land Cruisers parked horizontally in front of Wu Feng. Then, two more cars arrived, directly surrounding Wu Feng and Guxin Xinqing in the center. The doors opened, and numerous burly men wearing baseball caps and wielding weapons stepped out. The last person to get out was a bald man wearing gold-rimmed glasses, with an evil smile on his lips. Bastards, you've ruined me, and today, I'll drag you both down to hell. Chapter 44, Blades and Shadows, The Demise of Bus. It was none other than Wang Bus who arrived. A man of standard baldness, with golden-rimmed spectacles perched on his nose and a cigar dangling from his lips. However, at this moment, Wang Bus, once glorious, was now devoid of his former splendor. To this day, Wang Bus remains unaware of who exposed that video. But he knew the greatest beneficiary was the Xin Cheng group, logically implying it was Gu Xin Cheng and her paramour. Dare to touch my sister, and you're dead. Wu Feng slowly released Gu Xin Cheng, his eyes turning crimson. Wang Bus sneered, Me, dead? Do you even know the caliber of men I've enlisted? These individuals are the renowned assassins of Qin City, their leader known as the King of Assassins. The King of Assassins, if this Wu Feng fails to kill, keep the women for me to play with at home. Yes. The King of Assassins nodded, swiftly gesturing. 30 killers armed with machetes, steel pipes, steel forks, and various weapons immediately lunged at Wu Feng. At the onset of battle, Wu Feng swiftly rolled forward, breaking out of the encirclement. Even though the opponents were fierce as wolves, Wu Feng was forever a fierce tiger. Get him! The killers roared, wielding their forks and pipes simultaneously. Wu Feng kicked, toppling one person on the spot. Then, he charged into the enemy ranks. In close combat, two elbow strikes sent opponents crashing down. Ah! The enemy's agonizing cries echoed throughout the crossroads. Wu Feng used people as shields, steadily advancing, seizing the opportunity to snatch a long knife. With the knife in hand, Wu Feng's eyes gleamed with killing intent. Swish! A cold light flashed, and the assassin in front lost an ear. Ah! The assassin screamed, blood spraying wildly as he desperately covered his ear. Swish, swish, swish. Wu Feng swung 3 more times. One assassin's neck was severed. Another had 3 fingers chopped off. Yet another had his entire arm severed. Come! Wu Feng roared, rolling forward to attack. Swish! Another cold light flashed. As the assassin screamed, his leg fractured on the spot. The killers began to falter, gradually retreating. The king of assassins stepped forward, his eyes brimming with endless killing intent. Electrify, all stand behind me. Yes. The killers quickly moved back, taking refuge behind their leader. The king of assassins stared at Wu Feng. You're strong, at least for the next 3 years, no one will require my personal intervention. Humph. Wu Feng sneered, in our eyes, you are all trash. On the dark street, neither side could see the other's face, only endless slaughter and hatred die. The king of assassins roared, swiftly slashing towards Wu Feng. Wu Feng leaped forward, blocking the attack with a horizontal blade. Swish! The king of assassins withdrew his blade, swiftly retreating. Wu Feng lifted his long knife and lunged forward. Plap! The long knife pierced into the king of assassins' shoulder. Swish! Wu Feng withdrew his knife, gesturing, come. The king of assassins was infuriated, charging again, slashing towards Wu Feng's neck. Wu Feng blocked with a vertical blade, thwarting the attack. Then, he swiftly turned and struck, chopping at the opponent's wrist. Clatter! The large knife in the king of assassins' hand fell to the ground. Swish! Wu Feng's blade instantly pointed at his chest. The king of assassins was utterly stunned. In 3 years, he had never encountered such a skilled opponent. It was in this moment that the two locked eyes and suddenly recognized each other. It's you? Lord Yama? Wu Feng was none other than the Lord of the 10 Palaces, Yama. And the one known as the King of Assassins was none other than his own younger brother, Haiming, of the Black Battle. Back then, Haiming wielded a formidable blade, but an accident on the battlefield left his arm injured, forcing him to retire and return home. Thud! Haiming knelt on the ground, his eyes bloodshot. It was I who was blind, actually fighting with Lord Yama. Please, kill me. Wu Feng breathed a sigh of relief, sensing familiarity with the opponent's swordsmanship from the outset. Although he could have dealt a fatal blow earlier, he chose close combat. Little did he expect, little did he ever imagine, that this person was indeed Haiming. The same foolish lad who used to follow him around, calling him boss all day long. Thud. Wu Feng threw the knife to the ground. Ignorance is innocence. Get up. Kneeling in thanks to Lord Yama. Haiming bowed his head, blood oozing from his forehead. Wu Feng spoke, you know what to do, I need not say more, right? Understood, I'll take care of this Wang Bus for you. Haiming nodded. As he rose, he grabbed the long knife Wu Feng had used and dashed towards Wang Bus in the distance. Damn it, everyone's gone mad. Wang Bus cursed, then turned and rushed into his car, locking the door. Just as Wang Bus pressed the car's ignition button, the long knife pierced through the glass, piercing Wang Bus's neck. Ah! Blood spurted like a fountain, unabated. Haiming pulled out the long knife, then turned back, kneeling before Wu Feng again. Lord Yama, please go first. I'll handle things here. Wu Feng nodded, helping Gu Xianqing into the car from the ground. As Wu Feng drove away, the Toyota Land Cruiser carrying Wang Bus's body burst into flames. Boom! The explosion rang out, leaving no evidence of man or car. Wu Feng escorted Gu Xianqing back to the villa. She was unharmed, just temporarily unconscious. Wu Feng laid her on the bed, covered her with a blanket. Then, he shredded his blood-stained clothes, flushed them down the toilet, and took a hot shower. He slept in the living room that night. The next morning, when Gu Xianqing woke up and walked out of her boudoir, she suddenly saw a man lying in the living room, clad only in a robe. Instantly alert, she stealthily walked out of the room, picking up a vase and slowly approaching the sofa in the living room. Who? Wu Feng startled, grabbing the other's neck. Plap! Gu Xianqing fell to the ground, frightened. Sis, you scared me. Wu Feng quickly let go. You scared me. She pounded her chest, her bosom heaving. What happened last night? Why are you dressed like this? Gu Xianqing asked. Wu Feng shook his head. Don't mention it. After I brought you back, I took a shower, but I didn't realize there were no clothes for me to wear in your house. Rolling her eyes, Gu Xianxing said, "My dear brother, get your facts straight, will you? If my sister's house had men's clothes, that would be a problem, right?" He. Wu Feng awkwardly laughed. "True, makes sense. You little rascal, let me make a call and have someone bring you a few sets of clothes," Gu Xianxing said, taking out her phone to call. Shortly after, her assistant Xiaoya arrived, bringing several unopened sets of men's suits. After changing clothes and having a simple breakfast, Wu Feng headed to the Wan family private hospital. To cure Xiao Yezi's stubborn illness, medication was needed. And the most convenient place for medication was naturally the hospital. With familiar Auntie Ba in charge, Wu Feng was at ease. As soon as he arrived at the hospital entrance, he saw a crowd gathered. Hurrying out of the car, Wu Feng parted the crowd to see what was happening. An elderly couple knelt on the ground. In front of them lay a corpse. Behind them hung a banner, "Heartless Hospital, Scum Dr. Wan Qian, return our son's life." Chapter 45, Did Dinas Wan Qian cause a patient's demise? Upon glimpsing the name degenerate Dr. Wan Qian, Wu Feng was struck with incredulity. He was well acquainted with the medical virtue of his elder sister, Wan Qian. She would never be indifferent to life, let alone perpetrate the demise of a patient. The Wan family's private hospital was once a charitable institution teetering on the brink of collapse. The former dean intended to shut down the hospital, yet it was the arrival of the new female doctor, Wan Qian, that turned the tide and steered the hospital back on course. Presently, when Wan Hospital is mentioned, the vast majority commend Vice Dean Wan Qian with a hearty thumbs up. How could such an individual be an unscrupulous doctor? At that moment, Wan Qian, clad in a pristine white coat, emerged from the hospital's grand entrance. Journalists from various television stations, long lying in wait at the hospital's threshold, brandished their cameras and microphones, peppering her with questions. "Vice Dean Wan, how do you perceive the demise of the patient? May I inquire, is this matter factual? Is Wan Hospital truly a counterfeit establishment? There are rumors circulating that Wan Hospital's medical prowess pales in comparison to that of the Putian-style hospitals. What are your thoughts on this matter?" Confronted with a barrage of inquiries, Wan Qian remained silent and strode directly to the deceased's side. Immediately, the elderly couple lunged forward, the old woman seizing Wan Qian's lapels, exclaiming, "You scoundrel, return my son's name to me." Several physicians hastily intervened, pulling the old woman away. "You unscrupulous scoundrel of a doctor, today my old man will take you on," the old man bellowed, snatching up a brick from the ground and charging toward Wan Qian's head. Onlookers, journalists, and even doctors were startled, retreating to the sidelines. Only Wan Qian stood rooted in place, unwavering. Just as the brick hurtled toward her head, a towering figure appeared before her. This figure was none other than Wu Feng. In one swift motion, he seized the old man's wrist, wresting the brick from his grasp and flinging it aside. "Ah!" the old man shrieked, collapsing to the ground in a heap. The crowd once again converged. The old woman, indiscriminately pointing, cursed at Wu Feng, "You damned villain, you struck our old man?" The old man writhed on the ground in agony. "I'm dying, the pain is unbearable." Wu Feng was bewildered, he hadn't laid a finger on the man, merely disarming him of the brick. How had this escalated into a staged fall? There was undoubtedly something amiss with this elderly couple. Wan Qian stepped forward, inquiring, "What is your son's name? When did he arrive at the hospital? Who was his attending physician?" Once more, the old woman charged forward, "You've caused my son's death, assaulted my old man, and now you want to deny it? If my old lady were to die here, I doubt your hospital would survive." The enthusiastic crowd quickly intervened, halting the elderly woman. "Madam, please don't act rashly, suicide is not the solution. If you die, who will seek justice for your son? Let's talk things out calmly. With so many people present, justice will surely be served." The elderly woman collapsed to the ground, a mess of tears and snot, crying uncontrollably. Wan Qian stepped forward to console her. "Dear elder, I understand the pain of losing a child, but unless you clarify the situation, I cannot address this matter." The elderly woman roared, "You let people attack my old man, and now you ask how to handle it? Your hospital is a dark force, a bunch of rogues. During treatment, you prescribe medicines recklessly, and when things go wrong, you claim no responsibility. Are you still human?" The elderly woman's words struck a chord with many present. Regardless of the severity of the illness, once admitted to the hospital, it's all about expensive tests, forming a fatal contrast with meager wages. Many began sympathizing with the elderly woman, harboring resentment toward doctors. Several soft-hearted ladies in attendance even shed tears. Wan Qian crouched down, checking the old man's injuries. "Sir, are you all right?" Without a word, the old man pushed Wan Qian aside. Wan Qian stood up. "Sir, please don't act rashly. I need to understand your son's situation." The old man shouted, "He's already dead, what else is there to understand? You're pretending to be righteous here. Are you also trying to kill me with medicine?" Onlookers began accusing Wan Qian as a vice dean. "How can you still not know what happened? What kind of work attitude is this? How did such a young person become a dean? Who knows what's going on? I bet this female dean is just seeking fame and prestige, utterly irresponsible." No wonder the deceased's parents are so enraged. The onlookers voiced diverse opinions, leaving Wan Qian feeling deeply aggrieved. The incident was sudden. Upon learning that someone had died, she immediately came out to investigate. In a spirit of compassion for the vulnerable, she sought to console the elderly couple. Yet they were utterly unreasonable, resorting to violence at the outset, followed by baseless accusations and insults. Until now, Wan Qian had no idea who the deceased was, what illness he had, or what medication he had taken. Wan Qian spoke again. "Sir, could you please provide me with detailed information?" The elderly woman roared, "You've caused someone's death, yet you have the audacity to ask about my son's situation? It's all your hospital's doing." Wan Qian shook her head helplessly. "At the very least, could you tell me the deceased's name? So I can check his medical records at the hospital." The elderly woman refused to engage, shouting furiously, "You still have the nerve to ask? You've killed my son with your medicine, and now you ask what's going on." The old man joined in the commotion. "You unscrupulous doctor, I'll call the police now and have them execute you." "Well said, call the police, this matter must be reported." Suddenly, from behind the old man, someone shouted. The one calling for the police was none other than Wu Feng. Seizing the opportunity while the elderly couple argued with Wan Qian, he quietly approached to examine the body. To his surprise, the deceased was not dead at all but a martial arts master who had practiced a rare technique known as turtle breath. Ordinary doctors wouldn't have detected it. Wu Feng declared, "We must call the police and have the forensic examiner perform an autopsy on the spot. If it's the hospital's fault, we'll arrest them all." The old man was taken aback. "Aren't you on the same side as that Wan Qian? Why are you suddenly speaking up for me?" Wu Feng smiled, "I stand for justice only, I won't let innocent people suffer unjustly." The elderly woman pointed at Wan Qian. "Have you thought this through? Once the police are involved, things will escalate, and your hospital will have to shut down, it will go bankrupt." Wan Qian hesitated, well aware of the impact of such an escalation on the hospital. But Wu Feng said, "Qian, don't be afraid, let them call the police." Wan Qian looked at Wu Feng with great puzzlement. The elderly woman shouted, "If you don't want to call the police, then compensate immediately." The old man extended his hand. 30,000, not a penny less. Wan Qian hurriedly approached Wu Feng. "What are you up to?" Wu Feng lowered his voice. "The person isn't dead." "What?" Wan Qian was shocked, quickly checking the body on the ground. There was no pulse, no breath, the body was ice cold. Wu Feng explained, "This is a rare martial arts technique in the martial world. They are here to stage accidents." Wan Qian asked, "Do you have a way to wake him up?" "Through the Dingshan acupoint, one needle can bring him back from death," Wu Feng said, handing a packet of silver needles to Wan Qian. Wan Qian located the acupoint and immediately inserted the needle. Chapter 46, Feigning Death at the Hospital Gate. "Rascal! My son has already passed, yet you dare to tamper with him?" The elderly woman roared, appearing ready to engage in a fierce confrontation with Wan Qian. The old man, too, rose from the ground, once again picking up that half-brick, poised to strike. The lenses of the journalists and the indifferent gazes of the onlookers all shifted towards the commotion. Asterisk cough, cough, cough. Asterisk. Suddenly, the deceased emitted a dry cough, then slowly sat up. Feigning death? How can a dead person come back to life? The onlookers trembled with fear, retreating hastily. Wu Feng spoke up, "No need to fear, the man isn't dead." Only then did the crowd realize, pointing and murmuring at the awakened deceased. "What is going on here? This female hospital director seems to possess extraordinary medical skills, doesn't she? Why do I sense something eerie about this? Could it be a staged accident? The elderly couple stood frozen, exchanging glances, at a loss for words. They had come to make a scene, never expecting the young man to suddenly awaken. Wan Qian stood up. Your son's condition is still unstable. I suggest hospitalization for observation and treatment, with all expenses waived. This. You spare us your charade, you're nothing but a mediocre physician, the old man retorted. Wu Feng interjected, by the way, you mentioned calling the police earlier, didn't you? I did. What of it? The old man's temper remained stubborn. Wu Feng asserted, you will call the police immediately. I refuse to. If my son's awake, what's the point in calling the police? We'll settle for compensation. The old man puffed his chest. Wu Feng shook his head, no, you won't. If you don't call the police, I will. This matter must be investigated thoroughly. His words sparked an uproar among the crowd. Nonsense. You're spouting nonsense, the old woman trembled, her lips quivering. Old woman, let's go home. We needn't bother with them. The old man tossed aside the brick. Slipping away, they left despondently, paying no heed to the deceased son lying on the ground. Wu Feng shouted, don't leave. I'll report you to the authorities for justice. The elderly couple hurried away even faster, disappearing into a nearby alley in the blink of an eye. Wu Feng turned to the deceased, they've left. Let me help you call the police. No. The deceased hastily waved his hand, pointing to Wan Qian. She's a divine healer, absolutely divine. Even in death, she can cure. She's truly a miraculous healer of our time. After speaking, the deceased knelt down and kowtowed to Wan Qian. Thank you, divine healer, for saving my life. Wan Qian shook her head helplessly, saying nothing. Once the deceased got up, he turned and ran off as well. Thus, the farce came to an end, leaving the crowd murmuring. So, it was 3 scam artists. I thought there had been an accident at the hospital. I sympathized with their family, only to realize they were all deceivers. Nevertheless, the medical skills of this female hospital director are truly remarkable. The onlookers dispersed, and the journalists once again aimed their cameras at Wan Qian. This time, Wan Qian calmly accepted interviews, objectively stating the facts and expressing her views clearly. After the journalists left, the siblings returned to the hospital. Thanks to you today, or else it would have been a big trouble. Wan Qian said. No problem. Wu Feng smiled. Why did you come to the hospital? Missed me? Wan Qian smiled as she walked into her office. I came to get some herbs from you. I need them for a patient. Wu Feng said, taking out a list of herbs. It's hard to say. Recently, our hospital has been facing a shortage of Chinese herbs. I can't guarantee I can find all of them for you. Wan Qian said. Shortage of herbs? Wu Feng asked. A new hospital, St. Matt, has opened up, competing with our hospital at every turn, monopolizing herbs at high prices. I am quite troubled by it. Wan Qian said, picking up the list of herbs. I'll do my best to help you get these herbs. Okay, thanks, sis. Wu Feng smiled. By the way, Seven's sister called this morning. She has something to discuss with you. Give her a call. Wan Qian said. Got it. Wu Feng nodded and, after leaving the office, called Su Xianyan. Su Xianyan immediately questioned, Little brother, why didn't you come home last night? I stayed at Big Sister's place last night. What's up? Wu Feng said. It's almost noon. Let's meet and talk in detail. Su Xianyan said. Wu Feng sent her his location and then waited downstairs. In the parking lot, Zhang Shuhang, sitting in his BMW 1 Series, sneakily glanced at Wu Feng. Soon, Su Xianyan arrived in her BMW and drove Wu Feng away. Zhang Shuhang was puzzled. Wasn't this guy Wan Qian's boyfriend? Why was he getting into another woman's car? There must be something fishy. Zhang Shuhang quickly started his car and discreetly followed the BMW. Su Xianyan brought Wu Feng to a newly opened trendy seafood buffet restaurant. As they enjoyed the seafood and chatted happily, Zhang Shuhang, sitting in a corner, took out his Huawei phone and secretly filmed their intimate moments. After finishing the seafood, Su Xianyan took Wu Feng to the counter. Excitedly, Su Xianyan said, Look at that strength testing machine. If you can hit 150 kilograms, you'll get a discount. Wu Feng turned to look at the strength testing machine, where the rules were displayed on the wall. Hitting 150 kilograms gets you a 20% discount. 180 kilograms gets you a 50% discount. 200 kilograms gets you a 70% discount. If you reach 250 kilograms, you get a straight 90% off, and if you reach 300 kilograms, you get a free meal plus a bonus large teddy bear. Wu Feng chuckled, this game looks interesting. Su Xianyan said, can you get me that teddy bear? I really like it. The girl at the counter smiled as she rang up their bill. Little sister, you're too naive. My boyfriend is a fitness coach, and he only hit 180 kilograms. The fitness coach standing beside her flexed his muscular arm. Little girl, your boyfriend couldn't even hit 150 kilograms. Dream on about getting the teddy bear. Humph. Su Xianyan rolled her eyes, feeling a bit unhappy. Wu Feng said, don't be so sure. I haven't hit it yet. How do you know I can't get the teddy bear? Ha ha ha. Both the girl and her fitness coach boyfriend laughed. The girl said, since this store opened, only 3 people have hit 180 kilograms, and one of them was my boyfriend. The fitness coach added, hitting 180 kilograms is already the limit for an average person. Even Tyson wouldn't hit 300 kilograms here. Stop boasting, little brother. Su Xianyan asked the counter staff, is what they're saying true? The counter staff nodded. So far, the limit has been 180 kilograms, achieved by only 3 people. Wu Feng asked, if I break the strength testing machine, do I have to compensate? Chapter 47, Wu Feng smashes the strength testing machine. Ah! The counter staff was stunned by Wu Feng's words. Ha ha ha. The fitness coach and his girlfriend burst into laughter. Several onlookers around also emitted unkind laughter. The fitness coach chuckled and said, even Tyson can't hit 300 kilograms. You're talking about smashing the strength testing machine? I think you've inflated your story. The girl nodded along. I've seen people bragging, but I've never seen someone bragging this much. At this moment, the manager of the seafood restaurant walked over. The counter staff quickly spoke up, Manager, this gentleman just asked if he would have to compensate if he broke the strength testing machine. Ha ha ha. The manager laughed, his gaze falling on Wu Feng. Brother, if you can actually break this machine, not only won't you have to compensate, but I'll also give you free meals for life. Wu Feng said, forget the free meals, I just want the stuffed toy. Deal, the manager said. If you break the machine, you can pick any toy hanging on the wall. Thanks a lot. Wu Feng smiled and picked up the wooden mallet. The fitness coach was dumbfounded. What? You're really going to do it? I want to see how he embarrasses himself today. The girl took out her phone and began recording. The onlookers all stared at Wu Feng eagerly, waiting to see his embarrassment. Su Xianyan stepped forward, little brother, don't show off too much. We can do without the teddy bear. Stay back. Wu Feng waved his hand to signal her. Fine. Su Xianyan bit her lip and slowly backed away. Wu Feng gripped the wooden mallet tightly with his right hand, simultaneously gathering strength in his legs and waist, then focusing it in his right arm. Thud. Wu Feng struck the strength testing machine heavily with the mallet. The weight indicator on the machine soared from 0 to 300 kilograms, finally stopping at the mark. The manager of the seafood restaurant exclaimed, is this really 300 kilograms? Oh my god. The girl dropped her phone in shock. Is he even human? The fitness coach shook his head in disbelief. If he, someone so strong, couldn't do it, how did this young man manage it? Great job. Su Xianyan clapped excitedly. I was just warming up. Wu Feng said. What? Warm up? The fitness coach exclaimed. Brother, are you really a security guard? The manager asked, incredulous. I am indeed. Wu Feng laughed. And if I break it, I don't have to compensate, right? The manager nodded, that's how it goes. Before the manager could finish, Wu Feng swung the hammer with both hands and struck down the third blow. Thud. The strength testing machine climbed from 0, surpassing 300 kilograms, then 500 kilograms, and soared directly to 700 kilograms, but it didn't stop there. Boom! The impact of the blow resonated, and the internal hammer punched through the top. Beep, beep, beep. The strength testing machine sounded an alarm. The fitness coach exclaimed, "Oh my god." With tears in his eyes, the seafood restaurant manager raised his thumb, "Brother, you're amazing." Onlookers took out their phones to record. "So impressive." The young man broke the strength testing machine. "So thrilling." He broke the machine and won a wall full of teddy bears. "I'm so envious. So jealous. I want a boyfriend like him, no need to pay for seafood in the future." The girls were ecstatic, while the boys remained silent. Wu Feng handed the wooden mallet to the manager. "I'm really sorry." "Confirming I don't need to compensate, right?" The manager was speechless. He had just said it casually. Now, not only was the machine broken, but he also had to give away a wall full of stuffed toys. "Can we have our meal free and get the reward?" Su Xianyan asked the manager. Yes. The manager mechanically nodded, still in a daze. Su Xianyan pointed to the wall behind the counter. "I want the pink one, the purple one, and the yellow one." Sure. The staff nodded repeatedly and handed 3 teddy bears, each as tall as a person, to Su Xianyan. "Thank you." Su Xianyan smiled and hugged the stuffed bears, then pulled Wu Feng out of the seafood restaurant, leaving behind a crowd of envious onlookers. After tossing the 3 bears into the car, Su Xianyan tiptoed to hug Wu Feng's neck and planted a kiss on his cheek. "Little brother, I love you so much." Su Xianyan threw herself into Wu Feng's arms. Wu Feng said, "If I were you, I wouldn't have just picked 3. I'd hire a car to take away all of his teddy bears." Hee, Su Xianyan giggled, covering her mouth. "Oh, you two are such a sweet couple." Wu Feng and Su Xianyan both turned their heads. With his phone in hand, Zhang Shuhang slowly walked out of the seafood restaurant. "Wan Qian's boyfriend is having an affair with Wan Qian's sister." "You're really something, man." Su Xianyan asked, "You are?" Wu Feng intervened, "Wan Qian's admirer?" "Yes." Zhang Shuhang said, "I pursued Wan Qian for 3 years, and I got cut off by this scum." "Brother, you already have a girlfriend, why pursue her sister? Is this what a decent person does?" Su Xianyan burst into laughter. Evidently, Zhang Shuhang didn't know that Wu Feng was their sister's brother. Zhang Shuhang said, "I just took a photo of you kissing. I'll send it to Wan Qian immediately and expose your affair." "You'd better not send it. It's not good." Su Xianyan shook her head. Zhang Shuhang chuckled, "Are you afraid of ruining your reputation? I remember your name is Su Xianyan, and you're also a famous anchor, right?" Yes. Su Xianyan nodded, signaling to Wu Feng with her eyes and pinching his back hard. Understanding her signal, Wu Feng hastily said, "Brother, let's talk things out. If Wan Qian finds out about this, the consequences will be serious." Ha. Zhang Shuhang burst into laughter. Su Xianyan said, "Let's talk it out peacefully." "All right." Zhang Shuhang said, "I'll propose 2 conditions. If you can agree to them, I'll guarantee to keep this matter secret and delete the photos." Su Xianyan said, Sure, not just 2, even 100 conditions are fine, as long as I can do them." "You tell me, what are the conditions?" Wu Feng chimed in. Chapter 48, We Sisters Belong to Wu Feng. Zhang Shuhang coldly snorted, "The first condition, you must immediately break up with Wan Qian, severing all ties forever." "This request seems reasonable enough, you should agree to it," Su Xianyan said. Wu Feng nodded. Zhang Shuhang continued, "My second condition, both of you must kneel down and confess your illicit affair, and I'll keep the video as insurance." Su Xianyan chuckled, Feng, isn't this request a bit too much?" Wu Feng shook his head, "It's outrageous. I'd sooner kneel to the heavens, to the earth, to my parents, than to that idiot." Ha. Su Xianyan burst into laughter, clutching her stomach. "Are you calling me an idiot? I'll send the photos to Wan Qian right now, you're done for." Angry Zhang Shuhang swiftly sent the photos to Wan Qian and then hung up. "Hey, Xianxian, I have something very important to tell you," Zhang Shuhang said. "What is it?" Wan Qian asked. "You see the photo I sent you? Your boyfriend is actually fooling around with your sister, it's disgraceful." Zhang Shuhang exclaimed, "You're the disgraceful one, your whole family is." Wan Qian retorted. "Xianxian, just take a look at the photo. I'm not slandering your boyfriend, I'm serious. He's cuckolded you." Zhang Shuhang looked aggrieved. "I've seen the photo, so what? What does this have to do with you? Wan Qian roared. Xianxian, your boyfriend and your sister are involved. Don't you understand what I'm saying? Zhang Shuhang insisted. Are you deaf to my words? This has nothing to do with you. Don't call me again unless it's necessary. Wan Qian shouted. Asterisk beep beep beep. Asterisk the phone went dead. Zhang Shuhang looked at Wu Feng. You, a man, seducing all 9 of them? What's wrong with that? Any objections? Wu Feng shrugged. Zhang Shuhang was dumbfounded. Ha ha ha. Su Xianyan laughed heartily, clutching her stomach. Your relationships are ridiculously chaotic, Zhang Shuhang remarked. I've told you before, don't tell Wan Qian. It'll have serious consequences. Su Xianyan warned. You brought this upon yourself. After saying this, Wu Feng took Su Xianyan and left in the sports car. Feng, give me a kiss. Even in the car, Su Xianyan couldn't resist and planted a kiss on Wu Feng. Ah! Zhang Shuhang shouted, how is this possible? One man with 9 sisters? Is he even human? Asterisk roar. Asterisk the sports car sped away, leaving like a gust of wind. Su Xianyan giggled all the way in the car. That night, when she got home, Su Xianyan told Mu Jia about the incident. Mu Jia also laughed. Perfect, I was just wondering how to get rid of those colleagues who are always chasing after me. Next time, I'll just bring Wu Feng along. Wu Feng looked embarrassed. Is my life just about pretending to be your boyfriends every day? I don't care, anyway, Laba said you're the boyfriend of all 9 of us sisters. When necessary, you have to step up. Su Xianyan nodded vigorously in agreement. Fine, do as you please. Wu Feng shook his head helplessly and went back to his room. Ha ha ha. Mu Jia and Su Xianyan laughed heartily, banging the table. The next morning, Wu Feng drove to work at Xinqing Group. As soon as he got out of the car, he met Zhang Shuhang again in the underground parking lot. Why is it you again? Wu Feng asked. Zhang Shuhang smiled and handed him a cigarette. Bro, can we have a good chat? No time, not interested. Wu Feng turned to leave. Bro, I have a very important secret to tell you. Zhang Shuhang persisted. Words from a dog's mouth are not to be trusted. Wu Feng couldn't be bothered and started walking away. Bro, it's about the incident at Wan's hospital yesterday morning. Zhang Shuhang said. Wu Feng suddenly stopped in his tracks. He had suspected something fishy about those 3 people pretending to be dead. He hadn't expected Zhang Shuhang to know about it. Taking the cigarette from Zhang Shuhang, Wu Feng leaned against the car and lit it. Zhang Shuhang continued, let's make a deal, can you consider it? What's your proposal? Wu Feng asked. Zhang Shuhang said, look at you, managing 9 girlfriends alone, can your body handle it? What's it to you? Get to the point. Wu Feng glared at him. I mean, since you already have 9 girlfriends, can you give Wan Qian to me? I didn't expect them to be so open-minded. Zhang Shuhang suggested. Why should I? Wu Feng countered. If you give Wan Qian to me, I'll give you $1 million, plus I'll tell you the secret, guaranteeing you won't lose out. Zhang Shuhang proposed. Wow! Wu Feng took a sharp breath. He had thought pretending to be the boyfriend of the fake sister was pointless yesterday. But now, hearing that the other party wanted to give him $1 million for a breakup fee, he suddenly found this interesting. How about it? Zhang Shuhang asked. I'll take only cash. Wu Feng stated. No problem. Zhang Shuhang directly took out a box from the car trunk, filled with cash. When opened, you really mean it? Wu Feng nodded. Zhang Shuhang said, those 3 people yesterday were hired to cause trouble at Wan's hospital. Who hired them? Wu Feng inquired. The newly opened St. Mat Hospital on the street. Zhang Shuhang replied. How do you know? Wu Feng asked. Qin City's largest medicinal herb supplier is the Wang family. Zhang Shuhang explained. Which Wang family? Wu Feng asked. One of Qin City's 5 major families, the Wang family. Wang Bus died some time ago. Zhang Shuhang elaborated. His brother, Wang Caesar, took over the Boss Group. After integrating the company, he established St. Mat Hospital. Zhang Shuhang continued. My dad is a shareholder of St. Matt Hospital, so I know about this. Wu Feng nodded, understanding. So, you knew it was the Wang family who did this all along? Zhang Shuhang smiled. Not only knew, Wang Caesar has already made it clear that Wan's hospital will be closed within half a month. Zhang Shuhang added, indeed, being the son of a shareholder has its perks. Wu Feng nodded, unfazed. Zhang Shuhang said, next, Wan Qian is bound to suffer. If you don't break up with her, you'll be implicated. What about you? Wu Feng questioned. I'll wait until she's in trouble, then stand behind her and support her. That way, she'll wholeheartedly love me. Zhang Shuhang chuckled. Ha ha ha. Wu Feng laughed. Ha ha ha. Zhang Shuhang also chuckled. I played around with those female doctors and nurses, but I've never tried someone like Wan Qian. If I can't have her, my whole life will be a failure. Bro, can you understand my feelings? Slap, suddenly, Wu Feng slapped Zhang Shuhang in the face. Zhang Shuhang was stunned. Why did you hit me? You really are despicable. Wu Feng sneered. You're not a saint either, why pretend to be so noble? Zhang Shuhang retorted. You're just a sea king, I know exactly what kind of person you are. Humph. Chapter 49, I also possess a European gold card. Laozi can never be the same kind of person as you. Wu Feng said, then took his suitcase and left. Wow, the ability to pretend is top-notch, impressive. Zhang Shuhang raised his thumb from afar. Wu Feng took the money suitcase and got directly into the car. Zhang Shuhang chased after him. Brother, remember to part ways early. Wu Feng said, consider this money as compensation for the losses that St. Matt Hospital owes Wanjia Hospital. Let's discuss the parting later. What? What did you say? Zhang Shuhan's expression changed. In the future, stay away from Wan Qian. Someone like you will never be worthy of her in your lifetime. After Wu Feng finished speaking, he drove away. Zhang Shuhang roared, stop right there, are you kidding me? Ignoring him completely, Wu Feng drove straight to Wanjia Hospital. After parking the car, Wu Feng went straight upstairs with the suitcase. What are you carrying? Wan Qian asked. Wu Feng placed the suitcase on the table. I have something important to tell you. I also have something to tell you. Wan Qian said. You go first. Both of them spoke simultaneously, then chuckled. Wan Qian said, you go first. Wu Feng said, yesterday, those 3 faked corpse patients were instigated by St. Matt Hospital. Wan Qian was curious, how did you find out? Wu Feng tapped the suitcase, this is the mental distress compensation from St. Matt Hospital to you. What? Wan Qian was stunned, quickly opened the suitcase, and was instantly astonished. So much money? Are you kidding me? Wu Feng said, to be precise, it's the breakup fee from that kid Zhang Shuhang. Ha! Wan Qian laughed, I've heard about it too. Zhang Shuhan's father has shares in St. Matt Hospital, and now he's Caesar's loyal lackey. It seems you know everything. Wu Feng said. Wan Qian said, it turns out that the Zhang family and our hospital have a cooperative relationship, that's why Zhang Shuhang has been pestering me all along. After St. Matt Hospital opened, the Zhang family became enemies with our hospital, and Zhang Shuhang wanted to harm us. Indeed, my sister is wise. Next, I'll be busy. Can you come over to help for a few days with your superb medical skills? I was thinking the same. Wu Feng smiled. He originally intended to help Ouyang's daughter, Xiaoye, find medicine personally. It would be better to do it himself. He also solved a lot of trouble for Ba Jia along the way, killing 2 birds with 1 stone. My good brother, you're amazing. Wan Qian excitedly pinched Wu Feng's cheek. At 9 o'clock in the morning, Wu Feng changed into a white coat and transformed into Wan Qian's assistant, the beautiful vice president of the hospital. Fetching medicines, receiving patients, handling many internal hospital affairs, kept him busy the whole day. After work, Wan Qian took Wu Feng to the car. Wan Qian said, drive to the European-style Grand Hotel. Wu Feng said, simple dining would suffice. Why go to such a grand hotel? Wan Qian said, I've made an appointment with an important client, there are some matters to discuss. All right. Wu Feng nodded and quickly drove to the European-style Grand Hotel. After dark, the European Grand Hotel was packed with people. When Wan Qian and Wu Feng arrived at the counter, they were informed by the waiter that there was only 1 private room left. The waiter said, "This is a VIP private room, with a minimum consumption of 100,000 yuan. No problem." Wan Xian gritted her teeth and nodded. Today's client was very important to her. Even if this meal cost an extra 100,000, it would be worth it. The waiter nodded. "Okay, please wait a moment, we will open it for you soon." Wu Feng said, "Are we really splurging like this?" Wan Xian said, "This client is too important, it's a matter of life and death for the hospital." The waiter handed over the room card, too. "This is the room card for the VIP room." "Wait a minute, I want this private room." A well-dressed man hurried to the counter. Wan Xian turned around and immediately frowned when she saw him. It wasn't someone else, but the president of St. Mat Hospital, Wang Yidong. "Oh, isn't this Miss Wan Xian, the beautiful president of Wanjia Hospital?" Wang Yidong showed an unfriendly smile. Wan Xian said, "Sorry, President Wang, we were here first, this private room is ours." Wang Yidong smiled, "But I want this private room." "No way." Wan Xian firmly refused. Upon hearing this, Wang Yidong became even more aggressive. "Today, I'm going to challenge you. Won't the hotel have other rooms? Can't you go to another one?" Wan Xian asked, "Why don't you go elsewhere?" Wang Yidong retorted, "I have an important guest." Wan Xian said, "Ha ha." Wang Yidong laughed, "Sorry, I also have an important guest. You." Without further ado, Wu Feng directly took the room card and pulled Wan Xian away. "Stop." Wang Yidong immediately reached out and stopped the two. "Who the hell are you? How dare you speak to me like that?" Wang Yidong cursed directly. "And who are you?" Wu Feng retorted. "I am the president of St. Mat Hospital, and also a VIP customer of this hotel." Wang Yidong pointed at Wu Feng and shouted. Initially, Wu Feng wasn't very angry, but when he heard the other party claim to be the president of St. Mat Hospital, his anger surged. This troublemaker was the one causing problems for Wan Xian. Now that Wan Xian was discussing business with a client, he came to disrupt. How could he be tolerated? Without a second thought, Wu Feng directly bent the man's fingers. "Ah!" Wang Yidong screamed, the pain made him kneel on the ground. Wu Feng spoke, "Being a hospital president, aren't you impressive? I advise you to behave." Wang Yidong grimaced in pain, "If you mess with me, you're dead." "What's going on?" The restaurant manager hurriedly ran over with people. "Manager Huang, they're assaulting people, quickly help." Wang Yidong said. "Oh, President Wang." Manager Huang recognized him and quickly waved his hand, asking the security to surround Wu Feng. "What are you doing?" Wan Xian shouted, unafraid. Manager Huang said, "Let go of him first, let's talk nicely." "Little brother, let him go first." Wan Xian said. Wu Feng nodded, then let go, and directly kicked Wang Yidong aside. Manager Huang quickly stepped forward to help Wang Yidong up. "President Wang. Are you okay?" "I'm fine." Wang Yidong pushed him away, stood up, and said, "There's only one private room left in the hotel, shouldn't it be given to me, a VIP customer?" Yes. Manager Huang nodded, "You are a VIP customer, you have this right." Wang Yidong pointed at Wu Feng and Wan Xian. They took my VIP room, you deal with them." Wan Xian spoke, "We were here first." Manager Huang said, "I'm sorry, both of you, our hotel doesn't follow a first-come first-served basis, we prioritize serving VIP customers." Wan Xian's face changed. "What do you mean?" Manager Huang said, "Sorry, both of you, please hand over the room card to President Wang, you can wait in the lobby if there are vacant rooms, we will give them to you first." "Why should we?" Wu Feng asked. Manager Huang smiled, "Because the other party is a VIP customer and deserves this treatment." Wan Xian questioned, "Is this how the European Grand Hotel treats its guests?" "Yes." Manager Huang shamelessly nodded. "VIP? Humph." Wu Feng snorted. "You're not convinced, huh?" Wang Yidong sneered. Wu Feng said, "Speaking of VIP cards, I also have a European Gold card." Chapter 50, He is the esteemed guest of Mr. Oh. Wang chuckled, "Do you possess an European-style gold card?" Ha ha ha. Manager Huang also laughed. Wan Xian pinched Wu Feng's arm. "Stop fooling around, do you even know what an European-style gold card is?" "I don't quite understand." Wu Feng shook his head. Ah! Wan Qian sighed. Ha ha ha. Manager Huang and Wang burst into laughter. Manager Huang remarked, "You don't even know what an European-style gold card is, yet dare to claim you have one? It's simply ridiculous." Wang shook his head. "At best, you're just a small doctor. How could you deserve to own an European-style gold card?" Wu Feng retorted, "In your eyes, is an European-style gold card that rare?" Manager Huang shook his head. "In the entire Qin city, there are not more than 10 people who can obtain an European-style gold card. The European-style Grand Hotel is affiliated with the European-style Entertainment Group. Membership cards from European subsidiaries are universal. Ordinary consumers can acquire the European-style VIP membership card after accumulating a total consumption of 500,000. A consumption reaching 1 million can secure the European-style bronze card. When the consumption reaches 10 million, one can possess the European-style silver card. However, the European-style gold card cannot be obtained simply by spending money." Wang shook his head. "Manager Huang, perhaps this fool doesn't even know what an European-style gold card is." Manager Huang explained, "The European-style gold card is personally issued by our chairman, Mr. Cheng, and is only given to important partners or close friends. Those who hold the European-style gold card are either wealthy or noble, and it's invaluable. You, a mere doctor, do you think Cheng would personally issue you an European-style gold card?" Wu Feng smiled. "Coincidentally, this card was indeed given to me by Cheng." Manager Huang was suddenly astonished. "Mr. Gave it to you?" Wang shook his head. "What nonsense are you spouting? How could you possibly know Cheng?" Wu Feng remained silent, directly retrieving the gold card from his wallet and tossing it onto the counter. The front desk attendant quickly inserted the card into the recognition machine. The computer emitted a prompt sound. "Ding, European-style gold card member. Welcome to the European-style Grand Hotel." In an instant, Wang and Manager Huang were dumbfounded. Wan Qian also looked at Wu Feng with great puzzlement. Wu Feng spoke. "Manager Huang, is this the European-style gold card I hold?" Manager Huang immediately bowed 90 degrees. "I'm sorry, you are Mr. O's esteemed guest. It's my fault for being short-sighted. Please forgive me." Wu Feng coldly snorted, "Narrow-minded." Manager Huang justified, "Yes, you are right. I am narrow-minded, at your service." Wu Feng inquired, "Can I use the private room?" Manager Huang assured, "Certainly, feel free to use it. All expenses are waived. This hotel will provide you with imperial-level service." Wang pushed Manager Huang. "Old Huang, aren't you leaving?" Manager Huang turned his head, glaring at Wang. Wang said, "The card is genuine, but have you considered how this person obtained it? If he found it, stole it, or snatched it?" In an instant, Manager Huang suddenly realized. How could an ordinary person like Wu Feng possibly acquire Cheng's gold card? He hurriedly asked the attendant, "Who is the holder of this gold card?" The front desk attendant shook his head. "This card has not been registered with a name yet." Manager Huang asked again, "Sir, could you please explain how you obtained this gold card?" Wu Feng replied, "As I said, Cheng personally gave it to me." Manager Huang further inquired, "Then, would you be willing to give Mr. O a call to verify?" "I don't have her phone number." Wu Feng shook his head. Although he had met Cheng twice, they had never exchanged contact information. Ha! Wang laughed. Manager Huang shook his head. "Sir, if you don't even have Mr. O's phone number, how did you get the gold card?" "He's a fraud, nothing but a fraud," Wang decisively stated. Wu Feng asked, "Even though I don't have a phone, can't you call to verify my identity?" Manager Huang retorted, "If you can't deceive me, how do you expect to deceive Mr. O?" Wang suggested, "Manager Huang, just take him and hand him over to the police station." Wan Qian became anxious. "Brother Feng, where did this card come from?" Wu Feng said, Cheng gave it to me." "Doesn't Sister 8 believe me?" Wan Qian asked, "How do you know Cheng?" Wu Feng replied, "The woman who fell into the water last time was Cheng." In an instant, Wan Qian suddenly realized. She quickly said, "Don't mess around, my brother is Cheng's lifesaver." Ha ha ha. Manager Huang and Wang burst into laughter again. Wang said, "Lifesaver? What nonsense!" Manager Huang shook his head impatiently. "I don't want to listen to your nonsense, just seize him and take him to the police station." "Yes." The security guards echoed in unison, picking up their rubber batons to arrest Wu Feng. "Stop!" A loud shout came from outside the door. All eyes turned to the entrance of the restaurant. Two burly black men strode into the restaurant. Manager Huang's face changed drastically as he hurriedly approached. Sirs, why have you come to our humble establishment?" These two black men were Qing's bodyguards, Da Heng and Era, commonly known as the duo of Hong and Ha. Although they were just bodyguards, most of the time they represented Mr. O in conveying orders. Smack! Da Heng slapped Manager Huang's face with one hand. Ouch! Manager Huang held his cheek in pain. "Sir, what do you mean by this?" Smack, smack, smack. Da Heng delivered 3 more slaps, causing Manager Huang to spin in place. "Sir, please say something," Manager Huang pleaded. Thud. Era kicked Manager Huang in the abdomen. "Ah!" Manager Huang screamed in agony, falling to his knees. Era commanded, "Stay down." The security guards present were all puzzled. Why did Da Heng and Era beat up Manager Huang? Da Heng and Era separated from the crowd, walking directly to Wu Feng's side and bowing 90 degrees. Da Heng said, "Apologies, Mr. Wu, for the inconvenience caused by European style." Era added, "Mr. O is too busy. He forgot to register your card with a name. When we learned that you were using the gold card, we feared there might be a misunderstanding, so we rushed over." Wu Feng nodded. "You came just in time." Da Heng said, "We happened to be nearby." Manager Huang spoke up again. Sirs, he. Is he really Mr. O's esteemed guest?" Da Heng remained silent and simply kicked Manager Huang out of the door. Ouch! Manager Huang screamed, then crawled back into the restaurant lobby. Manager Huang said tearfully, I'm sorry, it's my fault for being short-sighted, for not recognizing Ru's esteemed guest. Please forgive me, sirs." Da Heng said, "Stay kneeling until dawn, and tomorrow morning, clean the toilets." Manager Huang, with a tearful voice, nodded and then pointed at Wang. "It's all because of him inciting trouble, he's the one who provoked Mr. O's esteemed guest." In an instant, Da Heng and Era's gazes turned to Wang. Wang's face changed abruptly, instinctively stepping back. "Seize him!" Da Heng ordered, and the security guards swarmed forward, pressing Wang to the ground. "Let me go, you bastards!" Wang roared, but he soon fell silent as too many people were pinning him down. Da Heng asked, "Mr. Wu, how should we handle this person?" Chapter 51, Seizing the Pharmaceutical Factory Without Bloodshed. Wu Feng turned to Wan Qian and uttered, "I defer to your judgment." Wan Qian responded coldly, "Simply give him a thorough beating and throw him out." Understood. The magnate nodded and immediately gestured. The security guards quickly descended from Wang Yi's body, and Era personally lifted him from the ground. "Beat him," the magnate commanded. "Hit him," the security guards roared in unison, delivering a barrage of punches and kicks. Ah! Throughout the hall, the wails emanated solely from Wang Yi. Wu Feng retrieved the gold card and led Wan Qian away. Meanwhile, the magnate approached the counter and assisted Wu Feng in registering his name. He then wrote down Qing's private contact information on a slip of paper, instructing the attendant to pass it to Wu Feng. Finally, after witnessing Wang Yi being thrown onto the street, the magnate and Era departed. Inside the private room, Wu Feng and Wan Qian sat on the sofa, attended to by several models K waitresses who personally served tea and water. Wu Feng inquired, "Sister 8, whom are you meeting today?" Wan Qian replied, "A longtime collaborator in Chinese medicinal herbs. The forces behind the St. Martin Hospital are controlled by Wang Caesar, who is fervently acquiring other pharmaceutical companies." Wu Feng queried, "Are you planning to acquire this Chinese pharmaceutical factory?" Wan Qian nodded, "This pharmaceutical factory may not be large, but it specializes in producing scarce medicinal herbs. I've reviewed your list, and the herbs you lack are all available at this factory. If we can seize this Chinese pharmaceutical factory tonight, we will be spared from Wang Caesar's control in the future." Wu Feng nodded understandingly, "I see. Is there anything you need me to do tonight?" Wan Qian replied, "Just accompany me, I'll handle the rest." "Very well," Wu Feng nodded. Wan Qian briefly introduced the situation of the factory owner, Zhang Zong, to Wu Feng. While they were conversing, the phone rang. It was a call from Zhang Zong, the owner of the pharmaceutical factory Wan Qian quickly rose and ushered Wu Feng out to meet him. Zhang Zong was a middle-aged man, with a gentle demeanor that seemed to exude honesty. Director Wan is very kind, I'm honored to dine at the European Grand Hotel. Zhang Zong exclaimed. Wan Qian smiled, Mr. Zhang, you're too polite. After years of collaboration, I'm aware of your preferences. The three of them settled into the private room. After some brief pleasantries, they began the formal business discussion. Wan Qian raised her glass, Mr. Zhang, may I inquire about the reason for your intention to sell the pharmaceutical factory? Zhang Zong sighed, setting down his glass. Well, do you have some unspoken concerns? Wan Qian probed. Zhang Zong shook his head, times have changed, and life is becoming increasingly difficult by the day. Wan Qian nodded, indeed, business is getting tougher nowadays. Zhang Zong continued, to be frank, while my pharmaceutical factory appears prosperous, it has been operating at a loss for the past 2 years. Wan Qian nodded sympathetically, our hospital is very willing to take over your pharmaceutical factory. Zhang Zong nodded in agreement, to be honest, I am also willing to hand over the reins to our former partners. Rest assured, if our hospital takes over your pharmaceutical factory, you can trust us completely. Wan Qian reassured him with a smile. Zhang Zong raised his glass, Director Wan's integrity is unquestionable. In that case, let's cut to the chase. Agreed. Wan Qian nodded. What's the figure you have in mind? Zhang Zong raised 5 fingers, this figure. 5 million? Wan Qian clarified. Yes, Zhang Zong nodded. If you're agreeable, we can sign the contract now. Tomorrow, I'll leave Qin City, and I'll never interfere with the pharmaceutical factory again. Wan Qian felt intrigued by the offer, but the acquisition price made her hesitate. Wu Feng interjected, is Mr. Zhang in a hurry to leave Qin City? Zhang Zong glanced at Wu Feng, his eyes shifting, and replied with a smile, not really in a hurry. I have relatives getting married back home, so it's a good time to go back and celebrate. Wu Feng asked, is it not just any relative of Mr. Zhang who is getting married? Zhang Zong chuckled, are you planning to give a gift? Wan Qian interjected, Mr. Zhang's pharmaceutical factory and our hospital have a fraternal relationship. It's only appropriate for us to offer a gift when your relatives marry. Zhang Zong hastily waved his hand, it's a trivial matter. Director Wan, what do you think of the price? Wan Qian replied, I may not be able to give you an accurate response to this price immediately. Ah. Zhang Zong sighed. Director Wan, to be frank, there have been many prospective buyers interested in acquiring my factory lately, and their offers have been quite substantial. I approached your hospital first out of our years of cooperation. I understand, Wan Qian nodded. In that case, I'll make another offer, adding 50 to the figure. 4 million. Zhang Zong proposed. Wan Qian's face lit up with joy, I think. Before Wan Qian could speak, Wu Feng interrupted her, Mr. Zhang, I believe 3 million is a more reasonable price. What? Zhang Zong's expression changed. 3 million? Are you joking? Wan Qian shot Wu Feng a glare, stop messing around. Wu Feng maintained a serious tone, I'm not joking. I suspect Mr. Zhang's pharmaceutical factory might be encountering some troubles, prompting the urgent sale. Zhang Zong shook his head, though my business is struggling, it's not to the extent of facing major issues. Wu Feng disagreed, Mr. Zhang, your pharmaceutical factory is likely being targeted by Wang Caesar, isn't it? Zhang Zong grew tense, how did you know? Wu Feng smiled but did not elaborate further. Wan Qian inquired, Mr. Zhang, what's going on? Zhang Zong sighed heavily. Wan Qian pinched Wu Feng's thigh softly, whispering, how did you know? Wu Feng replied, I guessed randomly. Let's leave it at that. Wan Qian rolled her eyes at Wu Feng, a mix of exasperation and delight. Zhang Zong remarked, Director Wan, your brother is quite sharp. Impressive. Wan Qian chuckled, you flatter him too much. Zhang Zong nodded, indeed, my pharmaceutical factory has caught Wang Caesar's attention. He's demanding that I sell it at a very low price. I refuse to accept such a loss, and I trust that the Wan Hospital has the capability to take over. In that case, I'll make another offer, increasing the figure by 50. 4 million. Wan Xian was about to speak, but Wu Feng preempted her. 3 million, not a penny more. Yu Zhangzong's expression changed. 3 million? Are you serious? Wan Xian glared at Wu Feng. Stop fooling around. Wu Feng spoke solemnly. I'm not joking. While I may not be familiar with Wang Caesar, I've witnessed the tactics of his brother, Wang Bus. To put it bluntly, the Wang family doesn't play fair. Zhang Zong sighed, deeply resonating with Wu Feng's words. Wu Feng continued, with Wang Bus gone, Wang Caesar now has free reign. A man like him will become even more ruthless. One hospital's acquisition of your pharmaceutical factory not only faces financial losses but also the commercial retaliation and covert actions from Wang Caesar. If Mr. Zhang isn't afraid of Wang Caesar, he wouldn't be in such a hurry to sell the pharmaceutical factory, am I right? Zhang Zong shook his head. I see now. You two have set your sights on me today. Wan Xian, please don't misunderstand, that's not our intention. Wu Feng interjected, if Mr. Zhang agrees, we can offer you 3 million now, allowing you to return to your hometown and enjoy peace for the rest of your days. Zhang Zong took a deep breath. Very well, deal. Deal? Wan Xian looked bewildered. Chapter 52, An Issue with This Factory. Mr. Zhang gazed at Director Wan in astonishment. Director Wan, are you still bargaining? No. Wan Xian hastily waved her hand. She wasn't bargaining, rather, she found all of this too incredible. Mr. Zhang immediately produced the contract. Since that's the case, let's sign it, shall we? All right. Wan Xian nodded, immediately taking out the contract to review. After confirming there were no issues, she signed it on the spot and made the bank transfer. Mr. Zhang chuckled. From now on, Wan's traditional Chinese medicine factory bears the Wan surname. Wan Xian raised her glass. Mr. Zhang, you're too polite. I toast to you, celebrating our successful deal. Cheers. Mr. Zhang raised his glass and finished it in one gulp. After 3 rounds of drinks and a sumptuous feast, Mr. Zhang left with a bottle and a half of mutai, smiling all the while. Before leaving, he said to Wan Xian, Director Wan, I'll remember your little brother. So astute at such a young age. Don't hesitate to ask for his help in the future. Certainly. Wan Xian nodded with a smile. Until we meet again. Mr. Zhang waved goodbye and left the hotel. As he turned, Wan Xian gave Wu Feng a big hug. Wu Feng, you scared me. How did you manage to negotiate down to 3 million? She had expected a price of 4 to 5 million, with 4 million being the best case scenario. But her brother managed to negotiate it down to 3 million straight away, and Mr. Zhang agreed to it. Wan Xian still couldn't believe it. Wu Feng laughed. I don't even know Mr. Zhang. Just had to bargain hard. Ha ha. Wan Xian chuckled, but what if you bargain too low? Wu Feng replied, then there's still you, isn't there? Wan Xian playfully punched Wu Feng's chest. You naughty boy, you're really lucky. Wu Feng grinned. I helped you earn 3 million. How are you going to thank me? Thank you? Wan Xian smirked and swiftly reached for Wu Feng's sensitive spot. Ouch. That hurts. Wu Feng winced in pain. Wan Xian coldly snorted, naughty boy, thank you? I'm your sister, this is what you should do. I'm sorry, 8th sister. Wu Feng hastily apologized. Wan Xian then let go and patted Wu Feng's shoulder. I'll make you some turtle soup later to nourish yourself properly. Wu Feng looked displeased. I don't even have a girlfriend, what's the point of nourishing myself? Wan Xian said, the best resources should be kept within the family. Tonight, sister will accompany you. No, stop it. Wu Feng hastily waved his hand. Tisk. Wan Xian rolled her eyes at him and left the private room first. After getting in the car, Wan Xian immediately shared her location with Wu Feng. Wu Feng asked, why are we going to the outskirts at this hour? Wan Xian smiled, to have a showdown. Wu Feng pursed his lips. No, 8th sister, don't joke around. Giggles. Wan Xian laughed and tapped Wu Feng's head with her jade-like finger. Silly boy, what are you thinking? We're going to the outskirts to visit the Zhang traditional Chinese medicine factory. Oh. Wu Feng nodded, then started the car. Silly boy, big in physique but small in thoughts. Wan Qian coldly hugged her shoulders and rolled her eyes at Wu Feng. They swiftly arrived at the Zhang traditional Chinese medicine factory in the outskirts. Honk honk honk. Wu Feng honked the horn, signaling the gatekeeper to open the gate. However, there was no activity in the guard room. Wu Feng got out of the car and saw 4 security guards inside playing mahjong. Busy, huh? Wu Feng spoke, his tone relatively gentle, making a fortune. Kong. I won. The 4 security guards were still playing mahjong, not even looking at Wu Feng. Wu Feng pushed the door and entered the guard room. Now, the 4 security guards stopped playing mahjong, all standing up and glaring at Wu Feng. What are you doing here? Who let you in? Do you know where you are? Get out of here now. As they spoke, the 4 security guards began rolling up their sleeves. You guys are a bit arrogant, aren't you? Wu Feng was puzzled. Since when did security guards become so tough? We're just arrogant. Today, regardless of who you are, you have to leave. A burly man stepped forward, poking Wu Feng's chest with his finger. What's the matter? If you don't leave today, we'll make you leave. Wu Feng retaliated with a slap. Smack! With a crisp sound, the big man spun in place 3 times. Thump! Wu Feng kicked again, and the big man flew backward, crashing through the glass and landing outside the guard room. Get him! One of the guards shouted, and the other 3 immediately grabbed whatever they could use as weapons, advancing towards Wu Feng together. Smack! 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 Wu Feng stepped forward, delivering 3 resounding slaps to their faces. Thud! 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 Following that, Wu Feng delivered 3 kicks, sending all 3 guards crashing into the corner of the room. Approaching, Wu Feng stepped on the head of one of them. No wonder the factory is losing money, even the security guards dare to be so arrogant. The chubby guard asked, Who are you exactly, big brother? Wu Feng replied, I'm the new factory manager's brother. Upon hearing this, the other 2 guards immediately ran out of the guard room, without looking back. The chubby guard hesitated, contemplating escape. Smack! Wu Feng slapped the chubby guard across the face. The chubby guard cried out, Oh, spare me, big brother, spare me. Why did those 2 run out? Wu Feng inquired logically, even if they were going to call for reinforcements, they should have gone deeper into the factory. The chubby guard hesitated to speak. Smack! 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 Wu Feng delivered 3 more hefty slaps, leaving the chubby guard bewildered. Stop hitting, stop hitting. I'll talk, the chubby guard pleaded. Speak up. Wu Feng glared at him fiercely. They went to inform, the chubby guard confessed. Inform who? Wu Feng asked. They went to inform Big Brother DeFei, the chubby guard replied. In plain language, who the hell is Big Brother DeFei? Wu Feng demanded. Big Brother DeFei is the boss around here in the outskirts. He's the one who arranged for us to work in the factory, the chubby guard explained. Wu Feng pressed his foot onto the chubby guard's hand. What else do you know? Ah. The chubby guard cried out in pain. Big Brother DeFei is a subordinate of Chairman Wang. Ah, I see. Wu Feng nodded, then kicked the chubby guard aside. Thank you, big brother. The chubby guard scrambled out of the guard room like a frightened dog and ran away without looking back. Wu Feng started the electric car of the factory and drove in with Wan Qian. What just happened? Why did those guards run away? Wan Qian asked. Wu Feng explained, the situation in the factory is a bit complicated. Those guards have been bought off by Chairman Wang. That's serious? Wan Qian frowned. But it's not a big problem, Wu Feng reassured her. I'll arrange for some more people later. Alright, thank you for your hard work. Wan Qian nodded. As they got out of the car, a woman in a suit approached them hurriedly. Hello, you must be Miss Wan Qian? I'm the deputy factory manager, Hu Xiaoling. Hello, I'm Wan Qian. Mr. Zhang should have briefed you on the situation, Wan Qian said, shaking hands with her. Hu Xiaoling nodded quickly. Yes, I suggest we discuss in another place. Why? Wan Qian inquired. Hu Xiaoling shook her head, because this place is not safe. P.S. Today's update, Wishing all the readers a prosperous year of the ox, may everything go smoothly for you and may you achieve great wealth in the year of the ox. Chapter 53, Rogues Surrounding the Traditional Chinese Medicine Factory. Unsafe? Wan Qian was puzzled. Why? Wu Feng countered. Hu Shaoling looked embarrassed. The situation in the factory is quite complicated. I may not be able to explain it to you two right away. It's alright, you can take your time, Wan Qian reassured her. Hu Shaoling asked, then, should we just stay in the factory? Let's go to the office. Wan Qian asserted firmly. Alright. Hu Shaoling nodded, then hurriedly led the two into the factory manager's office. Wu Feng and Wan Qian took their seats, and Hu Shaoling poured them tea before continuing to explain the situation. The situation in the factory was far more serious than Mr. Zheng had indicated. Currently, it was in a state of semi-closure, with employees clamoring to resign. It wasn't due to issues within the factory, but rather a group of rogues from the vicinity causing trouble here every day. At night, they would sneak into the factory under various pretexts, wreaking havoc, and even harassing female employees. Hu Shaoling said, if it weren't for you two, I wouldn't usually open the factory gate. Wu Feng asked, who are the troublemakers? And why aren't the factory security taking action? Hu Shaoling lowered her head. The troublemakers are all under a nearby figure named Defei, and the factory security are also under his control. Wan Qian asked, isn't that inviting trouble? Hu Shaoling sighed, placing her hands on her black-stockinged legs, a hint of concern surfacing. Wan Qian inquired further, why not recruit security from other areas to prevent these rogues from causing trouble? Hu Shaoling shook her head slightly. We've tried, recruited several batches of security guards over the past few months, but they were all driven away by Defei's men. Later, Mr. Zhang had no choice but to bow to Defei, paying him a monthly salary of 100,000. Defei would send a few of his men to guard the gate, which slightly alleviated the situation of theft in the factory. Wu Feng shook his head, isn't this just a disguised protection fee? Yes, Hu Shaoling nodded. These people are simply lawless. Haven't you reported them to the police? Wan Qian asked. Hu Shaoling replied, the police have come several times and arrested some people, but it always ends in nothing. Wu Feng remarked, the devil fights fiercely, and the little ghosts are troublesome. Hu Shaoling nodded, it gets chaotic here at night, so I suggest you two not to return tonight. Wan Qian shook her head, I won't be intimidated by these scoundrels. This is our factory, and we won't allow them to run wild here. Wu Feng nodded, well said, a bunch of scoundrels are not worth worrying about. Hu Shaoling added, they have a large number of people. Wu Feng waved his hand, no need to worry. I've already dealt with those security guards at the gate just now. Ah? Hu Shaoling exclaimed in surprise, covering her mouth. Wu Feng said, just gave them a beating, no casualties. Hu Shaoling shook her head, Defei will definitely bring people over for revenge. Wu Feng replied, this is a trivial matter, no need to call the police. Wan Qian said, it's alright, my brother has practiced martial arts, dealing with a few small rogues is no problem. Hu Shaoling shook her head, Defei, on one occasion, brought nearly 100 people to block the factory gate. I'd said that he has someone behind him, a figure known as the King of Murder. Before she could finish her sentence, there was a knock on the door. Deputy Manager, Defei has brought people to block the factory gate again. Please come and have a look. Hu Shaoling's face changed instantly. She hurriedly got up and said to Wan Qian and Wu Feng, please wait a moment, I'll go deal with this matter. Wu Feng stood up, leave the men's affairs to me to handle. There's no need for you ladies to intervene. With that, he walked out of the office. Wan Qian also hurriedly got up and walked out of the office. Hu Shaoling, Ms. Wan, please don't act impulsively. Wan Qian said, I am now the owner of this pharmaceutical factory. If I can't even solve my own problems, I am not worthy of being the factory manager. Seeing the two of them so brave, Hu Shaoling suddenly felt that those people weren't as terrifying as she had thought. She also followed them out of the office, trailing behind Wu Feng and Wan Qian. The factory gate was already in chaos, with a dozen or so social vehicles parked outside. A group of burly men with various weapons were blowing rogue whistles. Open the gate, open it, damn it. Damn, bring out the guy who hit someone. If you don't hand him over, none of you in the factory will sleep tonight. If you provoke us, we'll burn down your damn factory. The male and female dormitory area in the factory had already turned off the lights, and everyone had hidden under their blankets, fearing they would be implicated. At this moment, with Wu Feng in the lead and Wan Qian and Hu Shaoling following behind, the three of them slowly approached the gate quiet. Big Fly, with curly hair, spoke, and his henchman behind him instantly fell silent. Hu Shaoling, your factory is really bold, daring to lay hands on my people? Let that new factory manager come out. Big Fly said, picking his nose as he spoke. Since childhood, he had loved watching triad movies and was particularly fond of the character Big Fly in them. Later, when he got involved in the underworld, he even adopted the nickname Big Fly. Wu Feng spoke, hey, you nose-picking fool, you're Big Fly? What the hell are you saying? Big Fly was enraged, glaring at Wu Feng with his bull-like eyes. I'm asking you, are you Big Fly? Wu Feng spoke again, his tone calm and composed. Standing behind him, Hu Xiaoling's face turned pale with fear, as she had seen the brutality of Big Fly's group more than once. I am indeed Big Fly, who the hell are you? Big Fly stepped forward, grabbing the electric gate with both hands. Wu Feng said, is your boss the Murder King? Do you know my boss? Big Fly looked at the other person suspiciously. He had always admired the ruthless character of the Murder King. A while back, he had had a meal with him and even had the audacity to call him Big Brother. Since then, Big Fly had been telling everyone that his boss was the Murder King. In consideration of his reputation, I'll give you one chance. Hurry up and get your people out of here, and I won't pursue this matter. Wu Feng's tone was calm. Brother, how should I address you? Which path are you on? Big Fly smiled, his tone much softer, afraid of offending some big shot. I'm on none of your paths. Wu Feng replied. Big Fly was a bit puzzled. Suddenly, a person came from behind and patted Big Fly on the shoulder. Big Fly, don't be afraid. He's called Wu Feng, he's Wan Qian's brother, and he doesn't know who the Murder King is, just let it go. It wasn't someone else who had come, but Wan Qian's opponent, Wang Yidong, the director of St. Martin Hospital. Damn, he's just pretending. Big Fly's tone immediately changed, anger flashing in his eyes. Wang Yidong, what are you doing here? Wan Qian was surprised, subconsciously taking a half step forward. Ha ha. Wang Yidong laughed heartily. Ms. Wan, you're really skillful, acquiring the traditional Chinese medicine factory without shedding a drop of blood. Admirable. You deliberately competed with me for the private room tonight. Wan Qian suddenly realized. How could Wang Yidong have been so coincidentally at the European-style restaurant, even snatching the last private room with him? It could only mean one thing. From the beginning, Wang Yidong had wanted to sabotage her acquisition of Zhang's Chinese medicine factory. Ha ha. Wang Yidong laughed heartily. It seems that you, Wan Qian, aren't foolish. Wan Qian asked, what do you want? Wang Yidong said, it's simple, transfer the Chinese medicine factory to me, and you'll have to pay a separate fee. Wan Qian's expression changed. It's ridiculous. Not only are you asking for Zhang's Chinese medicine factory for free, but you also want an extra $1 million? You're dreaming. Ha ha. Wang Yidong laughed. If you don't agree, you won't even have a chance to dream because I'll make you sleepless and headache every day. You. Shameless. Wan Qian exclaimed. Wu Feng stepped in front of Wan Qian and spoke, Wang Yidong, you really have no shame. Being thrown out of the restaurant wasn't punishment enough for you, it seems. Wang Yidong's face immediately darkened. How dare you bring up that incident? I'm still mad about it. You two bastards, humiliating me at the restaurant entrance, today's events are your lesson. Wu Feng retorted coldly. Do you think you're worthy? Wu Feng sneered. You little punk, you dare to mock me? Today, you're dead. Wang Yidong gnashed his teeth, full of hatred for Wu Feng. Big Fly spoke up. Boss Wan, just give the nod, and I'll take my brothers and kill him right now, smash this factory. Wang Yidong's gaze turned to Wan Qian. Wan Qian, I'll ask you one last time, do you want to transfer this factory? Wan Qian's tone was firm. You're dreaming. It's never going to happen in this lifetime. Fine. Wang Yidong nodded, then waved his hand. Big Fly, take your men and do it for me. Yes. Big Fly nodded, immediately grabbing a baseball bat and raising it high. Brothers, let's get him. About 100 thugs picked up their weapons and quickly approached the factory gate. Back off. Wu Feng commanded. Wan Xian pulled Hu Shaoling, and the two quickly retreated to a safe distance. Almost simultaneously, Big Fly was the first to flip over the electric gate and jump into the factory. You! Big Fly was about to speak when Wu Feng kicked him. Ouch! Big Fly cried out in pain, falling to the ground. Boss! Big Fly, are you okay? The thugs shouted, eager to climb over the factory's electric gate. Just then, bright headlights shone, and a Toyota Land Cruiser drove directly towards the crowd. The crowd instinctively split into two sides. Whoosh! The Land Cruiser slammed on the brakes, stopping right in front of the factory gate. Big Fly got up from the ground and, seeing the license plate, his eyes lit up. It's Boss Wang. The door of the Land Cruiser opened, and Black Ming, the Murder King, slowly got out. Hello, Boss Wang. Nearly 100 thugs under Big Fly greeted Black Ming. Black Ming's status in Qin City's underworld was unparalleled. The big shots called him the Murder King, and the younger generation respectfully referred to him as Boss Wang. Excited, Big Fly flipped over the electric gate again and knelt on the ground. Boss Wang, your timing is perfect. Black Ming didn't speak, his gaze swept across the scene, finally fixing on Wang Yidong. Big Fly hurriedly introduced, Boss Wang, this is my boss, Wang Yidong, the director of St. Martin Hospital. Oh. Black Ming nodded slightly. I've long admired the name of the Murder King. Today, seeing you in person, Lord Ming, your demeanor is truly extraordinary. Wang Yidong stepped forward, excitedly extending his hand. However, Black Ming did not shake hands with him, just silently staring at him. Big Fly chimed in again, Lord Ming, these bastards from the Chinese medicine factory beat up my men. Wang and I came here to settle the score. Who did it? Black Ming asked. Big Fly immediately pointed to Wu Feng behind the electric gate. Lord Ming, it's him, it's this idiot here. He boasted about knowing you, almost tricked me. Black Ming turned his head and, upon seeing Wu Feng, his body shook, then he slapped Big Fly across the face without warning. Snap! The crisp sound echoed, silencing the crowd. Big Fly held his cheek, quickly apologizing, Lord Ming, I've embarrassed you, which I can't afford. I'll have my men kill him now. Big Fly felt he had been unworthy and provoked the anger of the other party. However, Black Ming's anger grew even greater, and he slapped Big Fly to the ground again. Big Fly cried out, ouch, Lord Ming, I was wrong, I was wrong. Wang Yidong spoke up, Lord Ming, this is... Smack, smack, smack. Without any hesitation, Black Ming delivered 3 more slaps to Wang Yidong's face. Now, Big Fly and his men were dumbfounded. This was Wang Yidong, their boss, the director of St. Martin Hospital, a member of the Wang family. Why was the Murder King slapping him? Wang Yidong's face darkened. I respect you and address you as Lord Ming, what's the meaning of this? 4 men in black suits quickly passed through the crowd and stood behind Black Ming, exuding an incredibly fierce aura. The atmosphere suddenly became strange. Big Fly hurried to intervene, Lord Ming, Lord Wang, you're both Wangs, there's a misunderstanding, we're all on the same side. Get lost. Black Ming kicked Big Fly aside. I didn't offend you, so why hit me? Wang Yidong gritted his teeth, full of resentment. Slap, slap, slap. Black Ming was merciless, delivering 3 more slaps to Wang Yidong's face. Wang Yidong was slapped to the ground again and dared not speak. The electric gate opened, and Wu Feng walked out slowly. Seeing this, Black Ming hurriedly knelt on one knee. Yen. Feng, brother. As he spoke, he corrected himself because he remembered what Wu Feng had said. He was no longer the king of hell, just Wu Feng. Get up. Wu Feng said. Thank you, brother Feng. Black Ming slowly got up. At this moment, Wang Yidong and Big Fly were puzzled, and the hundreds of thugs were all dumbfounded. This was the notorious Murder King in the underworld. Even the 4 kings of the Qin City underworld had to be polite to him, yet this young man in front of them made the Murder King kneel to him? Who was this young man, and what was his identity? Big Fly spoke up, Lord Ming, he. Black Ming remained silent, glaring at Big Fly. Big Fly's eyes darted around, then he quickly knelt before Wu Feng. Brother Feng, spare me, I was blind and didn't recognize you. I'll kowtow to you. Bang, bang, bang. Big Fly banged his head on the ground. Big Fly quickly motioned for his men to kneel down. Kneel down, all of you. The men hesitated for a few seconds before all kneeling down in unison. They buried their heads, not daring to make a sound. This scene exceeded Wang Yidong's expectations. You. Are you all in cahoots? Wang Yidong pointed at Wu Feng and Black Ming. Big Fly hurriedly explained, Lord Ming, Brother Feng, you both see clearly. I was deceived by Wang Yidong. Initially, Big Fly was indeed a bit wary of Wu Feng, but after Wang Yidong exposed Wu Feng's identity, he became fearless in the end. He was still deceived by Wang Yidong. Black Ming spoke, Brother Feng, how do you want to handle this? Wu Feng turned to Big Fly. Was it Wang Yidong who deceived you? Yes. Big Fly nodded frantically. Good. Wu Feng said. I'll give you a chance for revenge. Understood, thank you, Brother Feng. Big Fly thanked him profusely, then quickly got up, his eyes full of anger as he glared at Wang Yidong. Wang Yidong was frightened, crawling backward. Big Fly, you're insane? I'm your boss. Caesar Wang is my cousin. Today, even if the Emperor himself were here, it wouldn't matter. I'm going to ruin you. Chapter 55 Forced Marriage in the European Situation. De Fei indeed harbored fear towards Caesar Wang. However, if he were to take a side between Caesar Wang and the King of Killers, he would unhesitatingly choose the latter. Black Ming. The Wang family's power was formidable, but the King of Killers was someone who could demand his life at any moment. The once arrogant Wang had his legs broken by his own people. Once unconscious, De Fei revived him with a splash of urine. You insolent wretch, is Feng Yi someone you can provoke? De Fei reprimanded. Wang wiped the urine off his face and hastily begged for mercy from Wu Feng. Feng Yi, I was wrong, please don't let them beat me again, I'll die if they do. Wu Feng spoke up, today, I'm not killing you, I simply don't want bloodshed at the factory gate, understand? Understood. Wang nodded repeatedly, tears streaming down his face. Next time, I'll chop you up to feed the dogs. Coldness emanated from Wu Feng's eyes. Wang trembled in fear and then urinated. Wu Feng waved his hand, don't dirty the factory, throw him aside. Yes. De Fei nodded, immediately instructing his subordinates to throw Wang into the suburban wasteland. Black Ming once again apologized to Wu Feng. I'm sorry, Feng Yi, I arrived late. Wu Feng patted his shoulder, I have a task for you. Really? Black Ming was overjoyed, failing to remain by Yan Luo's side after retiring was his biggest regret. Wu Feng nodded, pointing to the security booth, you'll be stationed here as a security guard for a while. That's great, thank you Feng Yi. Black Ming was extremely excited. Recently, Black Ming was hired by Wang Bus, nearly harming Wu Feng. Although he later killed Wang Bus to atone, he still felt deeply guilty. Not to mention Wu Feng assigning him as a security guard, even if it were the most arduous task, he would be overjoyed. Because it proved that Wu Feng still regarded him as a good brother, still trusted him. De Fei was dumbfounded, his jaw almost dropping to the ground. The infamous King of Killers actually went to work as a security guard in a small factory? What's even more frightening was how happy Black Ming appeared, like a child. Disperse. Wu Feng spoke. Yes, Feng Yi. De Fei waved his hand and quickly left with his men. Meanwhile, Black Ming drove with his 4 little brothers into the pharmaceutical factory. Wu Feng told Hu Xiaoling, Vice Director Hu, help Black Ming and his brothers process their employment procedures tomorrow. Employment procedures? They're going to be security guards? Hu Xiaoling covered her mouth again in disbelief. That's right, as security guards. Wu Feng nodded. All right. Hu Xiaoling nodded repeatedly. But she still found it hard to believe. Black Ming was De Fei's boss, that is, the legendary King of Killers. How could he be a security guard? He's more like a gatekeeper. With such a ruthless figure here, not to mention humans, even ghosts wouldn't dare to cause trouble. In a moment of astonishment, Wu Feng drove away with Wan Xian. Wan Xian leaned back in her seat, her slender legs resting on the center console. Little brother, not bad. Wu Feng smiled, this kid served in the army with me, he listens to me the most. Wan Xian nodded, I see, so you're not doing as well as your own little brother? Wu Feng looked embarrassed, 8th sister, what kind of logic is this? Shouldn't you be curious about my identity? What identity do you have? Special Forces King? Border War God? Give me a break. My brother-in-law. Wan Qian sneered, teasing Wu Feng mercilessly. Wu Feng was speechless. In terms of teasing and sarcasm, Wan Qian was a heroine among women, unrivaled. In the following period, Wu Feng shuttled between the hospital and the pharmaceutical factory with Wan Qian. With Black Ming in charge, no one dared to cause trouble in the factory anymore. Wan Qian carried out a major personnel reshuffle internally, dismissing all the useless individuals and promoting talented workers in the workshop, and she issued a series of new benefits and regulations. The once chaotic traditional Chinese medicine factory began to straighten out. Meanwhile, the Grand St. Martin Hospital was put on hold due to Wang's disability. The Wang family also arranged a few tricks, but they were easily resolved by Wu Feng. After this busy period, Wu Feng finally gathered all the medicinal materials needed to treat Xiao Yezi. After preparing the medicine at the hospital, Wu Feng contacted Europe and arrived at the European villa that evening. Upon entering the living room, he saw an elderly man and a young man in a white coat chatting happily. The old man wore traditional Chinese clothing, his gaze as sharp as an eagle's, and his features somewhat resembling Europe. The old man stared at Wu Feng and asked, "Who are you?" Before Wu Feng could speak, Europe hurriedly ran down from upstairs and said to the old man, "Dad, this is the little divine Dr. Wu Feng I told you about." "Oh." The old man nodded slightly. Together with the young man in the white coat, they scrutinized Wu Feng. Wu Feng took the initiative to greet them. "Uncle Europe, I am Wu Feng." The young doctor said, "This is Mr. Europe, not just any uncle. Mr. Europe, hello." Wu Feng corrected himself, feeling an ominous premonition. These two, one old and one young, were not simple. Mr. Europe asked sternly, "How long have you studied medicine? Who did you study under? Where do you work?" Wu Feng replied, "I have been studying traditional Chinese medicine with my foster father since childhood, and I am currently working as a part-time doctor at the Wan Family Hospital." "Part-time doctor?" The young doctor shook his head disdainfully. "Mr. Europe asked, did you truly save my granddaughter twice?" Wu Feng nodded, modestly saying, "I happened to save Xiao Yezi. I dare not boast in front of the seniors and peers." "I knew you were a swindler from the martial world," Mr. Europe said firmly. "Mr. Europe is right, I also think so," the young doctor echoed. Wu Feng was embarrassed. He was just being modest. How did he end up being labeled as a swindler from the martial world? Were this old man and this young man deliberately targeting him? Europe was very unhappy. "Dad, the guest is here, why are you speaking like this?" Mr. Europe said, "Wei Chang studied under a famous doctor, far surpassing Wu Feng, and is now the chief expert at the first hospital. Do you think he can't save your daughter?" Europe shook her head. "Dad, I trust Wei Chang's expertise." Mr. Europe nodded. "That's good, let this Wu Feng go, let Wei Chang treat Xiao Yezi's illness." Europe shook her head. "Dad, for Xiao Yezi's condition, I would rather you trust Wu Feng." "Nonsense." Mr. Europe slapped the table. Europe did not continue arguing with the old man, but instead took Wu Feng upstairs into her own room. "Benefactor, I'm sorry, I didn't expect my dad's attitude towards you to be so bad." Europe shook her head, tears in her eyes. Wu Feng smiled, "I can see that your father is also stubborn." Europe shook her head, "He's as stubborn as a donkey, and I don't know where he found this Wei Chang, insisting that he can save Xiao Yezi, and also wants me." "Wants you to do what?" Wu Feng was curious. "Wants me." Europe lowered her head, somewhat difficult to speak. Wu Feng asked, "Could it be, he wants you to marry him?" Europe said, "He wants me to marry that Wei Chang." Wu Feng, is he your biological father? Chapter 56, He is the real deceiver. Indeed, he is the true progenitor. Yurik nodded helplessly. Wu Feng inquired, "What is the background of this Yurik?" Yurik replied, "He proclaims himself as a renowned physician of the world, adorned with a plethora of trophies and certificates. But upon investigation, I found a substantial amount of fraudulence, with some certificates being outright counterfeit. I strongly suspect he is a charlatan, with ulterior motives." Before Yurik could finish her statement, the door was forcefully kicked open. "Who are you calling a deceiver?" Mr. Oh, accompanied by Wei Chang, swaggered in. Yurik's expression instantly changed. "Father, why did you barge into my room without knocking?" Mr. Oh retorted, "I am your father, why should I knock?" Yurik exclaimed in frustration, you. Did you eavesdrop on our conversation? Mr. O countered, do you have something to say that you can't share with me? You. Yurik was utterly speechless. Humph. Mr. O snorted, his sharp gaze fixating on Wu Feng, this is the real deceiver. Wei Chang interjected, my master once said, among 10 traditional Chinese doctors, 9 are deceitful, and the remaining one is but an aged soul in the soil. Mr. O continued, young man, leave the O family immediately, I won't pursue your past actions. Wu Feng looked at Mr. O in astonishment, sir, your words sound rather unsettling, don't they? You're not naive. Mr. O chuckled. Wei Chang added, Wu Feng, I've investigated your background in the hospital. You've never been a doctor, not even part-time, just started recently, and that too in a small private clinic. You're correct. Wu Feng nodded, without hesitation. Pointing at Wu Feng, Wei Chang addressed Mr. Oh, sir, listen to this. This lad admits it himself. Mr. O sneered, I did indeed make a public statement that whoever saves my granddaughter, I will wed my daughter to him. But young man, your intentions are too obvious. Do you think becoming the son-in-law of the O family is that easy? Wu Feng, bewildered, turned to Yurik. Yurik explained, indeed, father did utter those words before, but I refrained from telling you, fearing it might burden you psychologically. Wei Chang sneered, does he have any psychological burden? He's eager to become the son-in-law of the O family. Upon hearing this, Mr. O became furious. Wu Feng, if you don't want to die, get out of the O family immediately. Mr. O erupted in anger. Yurik immediately stood in front of Wu Feng, he was invited by me, and no one shall harm him. Mr. O demanded loudly, Yurik, have you gone mad? Do you trust a deceiver rather than your own father? Yurik retorted, Wu Feng saved my life and Yezi's. Why won't you trust me and instead believe in a foreign deceiver? Is the foreign moon really that much rounder? Wei Chang fumed, Mr. O, are you calling me a deceiver? I, Wei Chang, studied under the foremost of the 4 divine physicians of Jizhou. At the age of 18, I went abroad for further studies, winning numerous awards. My master said I surpass him. All doctors in the world are deceivers, I cannot be one. Wu Feng questioned, the foremost of the 4 divine physicians, could your master be Zhu Xin? Exactly. Wei Chang puffed up his chest with confidence. Very well. Wu Feng said, I'll call Zhu Xin right now to see if he has a disciple named Wei Chang. Do you know my master? Panic flashed in Wei Chang's eyes. Wu Feng immediately dialed Zhu Xin's number. Hello, master, what are your orders? Zhu Xin, on the other end of the line, sounded extremely excited. Wu Feng spoke, I'm asking you, have you ever taken in a disciple named Wei Chang? Zhu Xin replied, Wei Chang? No, I haven't. Say it louder. Wu Feng pressed the speaker button on his phone. Zhu Xin's voice echoed, I, Zhu Xin, have never taken in a disciple named Wei Chang. In an instant, the expressions of Yurik and Mr. O changed, both turning to look at Wei Chang simultaneously. It's fake, this must be fake. Wei Chang asserted decisively. My master travels far and wide, ordinary people can't reach him, how could you possibly have his contact information? Zhu Xin, on the other end of the line, became enraged, are you bloody calling me fake? Have you gone mad? Wei Chang stubbornly retorted, you old fool, you're the one who's gone mad. Dare to impersonate my master? I'll report you to him and have your lackey status revoked. Ha ha ha. Wu Feng laughed. Zhu Xin, come to the O residence immediately. Let Mr. O see who's genuine and who's not. Zhu Xin declared, Master, rest assured, I'll rush over anyone who dares impersonate my disciple, I'll make them pay. I'm on my way. After finishing his words, Wu Feng hung up the phone. Wei Chang's mouth twitched a few times, panic rising in his heart. He didn't actually know Zhu Xin, he only heard of him as a renowned physician, hence his attempt to pose as his disciple. The problem was, Wu Feng was just a minor character, how could he possibly know Zhu Xin? Even more terrifyingly, Zhu Xin had just referred to him as his master? Impossible, absolutely impossible, it must be fake. Wei Chang comforted himself in his mind. Mr. O asked, Wei Chang, are you truly from Zhu Xian's lineage? Wei Chang solemnly replied, I did study with him during my youth, although we haven't met for many years. Mr. O nodded, very well, once Zhu Xian arrives, the truth will be revealed. Yurik said, Father, this time you've really made a mistake. Mr. O retorted, have I? Zhu Xian is in Yecheng, how could he suddenly come to Qincheng? Yurik shook her head, I saw Zhu Xian not long ago in Yecheng. He was indeed there. What? Mo's expression changed, and when he turned his head, Wei Chang was suddenly nowhere to be seen. Where did he go? Yurik asked. Mr. O panicked, Wei Chang, where did you go? Clang. The sound of a broken window came from the end of the corridor. Almost simultaneously, the three rushed to the end of the corridor. They saw Wei Chang running away like a rabbit. Mr. Oh, I have urgent matters to attend to, see you later. Stop right there. Mr. O roared, but instantly felt a chill. I am not a deceiver, you must believe me. Wei Chang yelled as he ran out of the O family's gate. In that moment, a Passat came speeding towards him. Thud. Wei Chang, in full sprint, was knocked down. Hiss. The Passat slammed on its brakes, and the person who stepped out was Zhu Xian. Young man, are you all right? Zhu Xian immediately reached out and grabbed the man's wrist upstairs. Wu Feng shouted, Zhu Xian, he's Wei Chang. Are you Wei Chang? Zhu Xian asked. The divine physician Zhu Xian? Wei Chang was dumbfounded. He didn't know Zhu Xian personally, but he had researched his background extensively. Never in his life did he expect to be caught red-handed by Zhu Xian while he was swindling. Following that, Yurik, Mr. O, and Wu Feng rushed into the courtyard. You're actually a fraud. Mr. O glared furiously at Wei Chang. Chapter 57, Mr. O, he is my ancestor. Mr. O, you have to believe me. Wei Chang shook his head stubbornly, refusing to admit his guilt even at the brink of death. Smack. Mr. O's hand landed squarely on Wei Chang's face. Wei Chang. Wei Chang tried to say something, but Mr. O's eyes seemed to shoot fire, and he immediately ordered the security guards who had rushed over, break his mouth, pull out all his teeth, I want him to never speak again in his life. Yes. The security guards immediately seized Wei Chang, one holding pliers and the other prying open his mouth. Wei Chang's screams echoed in the courtyard. Mr. O sighed, it's my old eyes failing me, mistaking a bear for a hero. Thank you, divine physician Zhu. It's nothing, nothing at all. Mr. O has punished the villain and cleared my name. Zhu Xian smiled. Mr. O, his hand trembling, grasped Zhu Xian's hand, divine physician, do you also know this Wu Feng? Zhu Xian replied, he is my. Mr. O chuckled, he is your disciple, just like you, humble and unassuming. Zhu Xian hastily shook his head, Mr. Oh, he is not my disciple. Before he could finish, Mr. O turned to Wu Feng, it seems I overestimated you. This young doctor is not even qualified to be Zhu Xian's disciple. But, since you saw through Wei Chang's deception, I am willing to facilitate Zhu Xian accepting you as his disciple. Zhu Xian became anxious, Mr. O, how can you say such things? Do you know who he is? Mr. O laughed, who is he? Just a barefoot doctor? Wu Feng also laughed, thank you for your kindness, Mr. O, but I have no interest in this matter. Mr. O frowned, why don't you show some gratitude? Zhu Xian interjected, rushing to them, Mr. O, would you let me finish my words? Speak. Mr. O's face was full of pride, seemingly unconcerned. Zhu Xian immediately said, Sir, Mr. O, he is not my disciple. Before he could finish, Mr. O interrupted, it seems I was mistaken in thinking you were humble like your master. However, considering that you exposed Wei Chang as a fraud, I am willing to lead the way and let the divine physician Zhu accept you as his disciple. Zhu Xian was taken aback, Mr. Oh, how can you say such things? Do you know who he is? Mr. O smiled, he is who? Just a humble doctor? Zhu Xian was about to explain when Yurik suddenly knelt down and bowed to Wu Feng. Master, please forgive me. Your disciple Yurik dares not have any presumptuous thoughts. Please forgive me, master. Wu Feng is your master. Mr. O was dumbfounded, feeling like his worldview was being turned upside down. Yes. Yurik nodded. Please don't insult our family anymore. Mr. O's face turned red with embarrassment. This seemingly ordinary doctor turned out to be Wu Feng's master? Mr. O had just insulted Wu Feng, but now he realized his mistake. Cough, cough. Mr. O cleared his throat twice, deliberately saying, apologize to the divine physician Zhu Xian, wouldn't be too embarrassing, right? I. Mr. O's hand trembled, his lips quivering, unable to speak. Yurik chuckled. Even though the person was her father, seeing someone put him in his place felt quite satisfying. After trembling for half a minute, Mr. O finally spoke. I'm sorry, divine physician Wu, I wrongly accused you. I apologize to you. With that, Mr. O bowed deeply. Let's focus on treating little Yezi's illness first. We can discuss other matters later. Wu Feng said, leading the way into the villa. Mr. O hurriedly followed his daughter, laughing, my dear daughter, you have such good judgment. Cough, cough. Yurik cleared her throat twice. Who was it that said I believed in a fraud? Mr. O said with a smile, I was wrong, I apologize to you. You have a good eye. If our O family were to find such a son-in-law, we'd be lucky. Yurik shook her head and sighed. Dad, why do you change your mind so quickly? Just now, you looked down on him, now you want him to be your son-in-law? Isn't this a bit? Yurik's face turned as red as a tomato. You all come out, and let my good son-in-law treat my granddaughter. Mr. O said, pulling his daughter and the nanny out of the room. Wu Feng instructed Zhu Xian to prepare the herbs, while he himself checked little Yezi's condition. Fortunately, little Yezi's condition was stable. After soothing her to sleep, Wu Feng began acupuncture. 9 precise needles were inserted one by one. Zhu Xian, standing beside him, widened his eyes in amazement. Later, Wu Feng used herbs to burn the needle sites. Then, a foul-smelling odor filled the room. A black liquid slowly surged out from the acupuncture points. Zhu Xian's eyes widened in shock. Is this? Wu Feng said, this is the toxin hidden in his body. Zhu Xian nodded, astonished. Half an hour later, Wu Feng removed the silver needles and clapped his hands. All done. Is that all? Zhu Xian was speechless, his eyes wide with disbelief. Wu Feng said, I am not skilled enough, a more experienced doctor could have done it in less than half an hour. Zhu Xian was at a loss for words. Little Yezi's illness was well known in Jizhou, listed as one of the top 10 mysterious illnesses, and no one could cure it. But in Wu Feng's hands, it was just a minor ailment? What was even more terrifying was that he had only taken half an hour to complete the treatment. At this moment, Zhu Xian suddenly realized that calling Wu Feng his ancestor was a huge stroke of luck. With Wu Feng's medical skills, he was bound to become famous nationwide, even worldwide. Wu Feng handed the prepared medicine packet to Zhu Xian. This is the medicine I prepared. Heat it up, and he should take it once a week. You'll be in charge of it from now on. Yes, master. Zhu Xian was extremely excited, taking the medicine packet and leaving the room. How is it? Yurik, who was waiting outside the door, asked. Wu Feng said, most of the toxins in his body have been expelled. With regular medication, he should recover within 3 months. Yurik was so excited that she knelt down on the ground again. Thank you, benefactor, thank you so much. Wu Feng hurriedly helped her up. Yurik, as I said before, please don't call me benef. Actor anymore. Yes. Yurik nodded repeatedly, wiping away tears. Chapter 58, Assassin kidnaps little Yezi. Following that, Yurik returned to the room to attend to little Yezi. Meanwhile, Wu Feng seated himself in the living room, where Mr. O personally served him tea. Dear son-in-law, come, have some tea. Mr. O offered with a hearty laugh. Rather than accepting the tea, Wu Feng regarded him with a perplexed expression. Ha ha. Mr. O chuckled heartily. Wu Feng remarked, your address seems a bit insincere, doesn't it? Mr. O replied, I have made it clear from the start that whoever saves my granddaughter shall marry my daughter. Wu Feng countered, as I've said before, saving little Yezi is simply a matter of professional integrity, and I harbor no ulterior motives towards your family. Mr. O nodded, I understand, but my family will never mistreat a benefactor. Although my daughter is older than you, as the saying goes, a woman of 30 is like a mountain of gold. Wu Feng gave Mr. O a knowing glance, then wordlessly picked up the teacup and sipped. Mr. O chuckled awkwardly, it's alright if you think Yurik is a bit older. I have a younger daughter who's still in school, untouched by love affairs. Put. Wu Feng sprayed tea all over Mr. O's face. It's okay, you sprayed it so well. Mr. O wiped his face with his hand. Cough, cough. Wu Feng set down the teacup, his tone serious. Mr. Oh, as an elder, could you please maintain some dignity in front of your juniors? Are you still angry? Let me apologize to you again. Mr. O stood up, bowing once more in apology. Alright, let's put this matter behind us and not mention it again. Wu Feng waved his hand, somewhat resigned. Even though the O family wasn't the most prestigious, it was still one of the 5 great families of Qin City. Seeing the venerable Mr. O acting like a matchmaker for his daughter was truly surprising. Mr. O nodded repeatedly, then suggested, since you've saved little Yezi 3 times and she's so close to you, why not let her recognize you as her godfather? Wu Feng shook his head, let's discuss this later. Why? Mr. O asked. Wu Feng turned his head away in silence. If he agreed to become little Yezi's godfather, wouldn't that make him Mr. O's godson? That wasn't a deal worth making. Mr. O grabbed Wu Feng's hand, regardless, you are an esteemed guest of our O family, and in the future. Shut up. Wu Feng suddenly interrupted, his tone icy, his gaze fixed outside the window. I know, I was wrong before. Mr. O attempted to apologize again. I said shut up. Wu Feng stood up abruptly, his gaze fixed on the backyard. Mr. O faltered, I. Wu Feng ignored him and directly pushed open the door into the backyard. Mr. O hurriedly followed, calling out, Brother Wu Feng. In the small forest of the backyard, faint shadows were moving. Wu Feng asked, where are the other 2? Mr. O replied, I gave them the day off. Upon hearing this, Wu Feng's heart tightened. In the next moment, the shadows in the forest flashed into view. Stand aside. Wu Feng roared, kicking Mr. O back into the house. As Wu Feng closed the backyard door, several iron arrows shot towards them. Clang, clang, clang. The arrows pierced through, their sharp points emerging. Mr. O suddenly grew tense, assassins? In the next moment, 3 figures emerged from the backyard forest. Bang! The courtyard door was kicked open, and 3 masked assassins wielding long knives rushed in. Meanwhile, Wu Feng grabbed a kitchen knife from the kitchen and stood in the hallway. Wu Feng asked, are you here for O Yezi? Since you know, step aside immediately. The assassin spoke coldly. Wu Feng shook his head, if you want to harm her, you'll have to get through me first. Attack! The assassins roared, charging at Wu Feng with their knives. Wu Feng neither retreated nor dodged, but faced them head-on, swiftly evading 2 strikes. When the 3rd assassin swung their blade at him, Wu Feng countered with his own. And Wu Feng's speed with the knife was much faster than theirs. Swish! A cold light flashed, and the assassin's right arm was cleanly severed. Ah! The assassin screamed, clutching their gushing hand as they writhed on the ground. The other 2 assassins flew into a rage and attacked Wu Feng simultaneously. Wu Feng took a half-step back, swiftly grabbing one of their wrists with his left hand and severing the other's wrist with his right hand. Ah! Another cry rang out. The last assassin attempted to break free from Wu Feng's grip. But Wu Feng's grip was as unyielding as a vice. The assassin yelled, let go of me. All right. Wu Feng released his grip, then swiftly twisted and killed the assassin. Crack! The assassin fell to the ground, silence descending. Wu Feng quickly turned and rushed into the living room, where Mr. Oh, and Zhu Xian were hiding behind the fish tank. Seeing that the two of them were unharmed, Wu Feng hurriedly rushed upstairs. Just as he was about to push open little Yezi's door, a female assassin walked out of the room, holding Mrs. Oh and her daughter hostage. With a knife in each hand, one at each woman's neck, Mrs. O's face was pale, silent. Little Yezi was crying silently, tears streaming down her face. The female assassin stared at Wu Feng with boundless hatred in her eyes. There were 4 of them in total when they infiltrated. They noticed there was a skilled opponent present. So, 3 of them engaged the skilled opponent while the female assassin took little Yezi hostage. Unfortunately, those 3 assassins didn't manage to hold back Wu Feng. Instead, they were all swiftly dealt with. Wu Feng spoke angrily, "Release them." The female assassin shook her head, questioning, "Did you kill my 3 brothers?" "Yes, and if you seek revenge, come after me." Wu Feng's tone was domineering. "Do you think I'm stupid?" The female assassin sneered, "Now that I have these 2 in my hands, they're your weak spot." At this moment, Mr. Oh and Zhu Xian rushed forward, "Release my daughter and granddaughter, and I'll give you anything you want." "All right." The female assassin said, "I want a car, get one ready for me now." Mr. O nodded, immediately taking out his car keys, "My car is ready for you." "Throw it over," the female assassin demanded. "Okay." Mr. O nodded, tossing the car keys towards the female assassin. The female assassin turned her head and directly bit down on the car keys with her mouth. This action surprised Mr. O. The female assassin looked at Wu Feng, "Drop your knife." Clang! Wu Feng threw the kitchen knife to the ground. Little Yezi began to cry loudly, "Woo!" The female assassin spoke again, "Everyone, step back." "All right, we'll step back, don't get agitated." Mr. O signaled to Wu Feng and Zhu Xian, and the 3 of them slowly retreated downstairs. The female assassin, holding Mrs. O and her daughter, descended the stairs step by step, leaving the villa. The female assassin kicked Mrs. O to the ground, then lifted little Yezi and quickly got into Mr. O's car. The 3 rushed forward, but the female assassin's knife once again rested on little Yezi's neck. "Don't come any closer, or she'll die now." "Back off, we're backing off." Mr. O pulled Zhu Xian back. Wu Feng, however, did not move, but instead asked the female assassin, "What about those 3 assassins, are you planning to abandon them like this?" The female assassin's face changed abruptly, "Are you threatening me?" Chapter 59, The Call from Sister Wu Yuzi. "I'm just offering you a friendly reminder," Wu Feng said calmly, his expression devoid of emotion. The female assassin indeed softened, unable to bear abandoning her own brother here. "You, help them all into the car." The female assassin pointed at Wu Feng. "Very well," Wu Feng nodded. "And do it quickly." The female assassin threatened Wu Feng with a knife against Xiao Yezi's face. Wu Feng immediately turned and entered the villa, carrying one of the killers over his shoulder. "Throw him into the trunk," the female assassin ordered. "All right," Wu Feng nodded, reaching for the trunk, then shook his head, "It's locked." The female assassin glanced at the car keys and then pressed the trunk release button. In that moment of looking down, Wu Feng suddenly stood before her, gently patting her shoulder. "You're asking for death." The female assassin became furious, ready to draw her knife, but she suddenly felt a wave of weakness. Clang! The knife fell from her hand. "You!" The female assassin turned her head, only to find a silver needle inserted into her shoulder. Wu Feng grabbed the female assassin, pulling her out of the driver's seat and tossing her onto the grass. "Go!" Old Master O shouted, and several security guards immediately subdued the female assassin. Wu Feng quickly picked up Xiao Yezi from the passenger seat. "Uncle Hero." Xiao Yezi lay on Wu Feng's shoulder, sobbing uncontrollably. "It's all right, it's all right." Wu Feng gently patted Xiao Yezi's back. "Xiao Yezi, are you all right?" O Qing approached with tears in her eyes, grabbing her daughter's hand. "Mom, Xiao Yezi is not afraid, please don't cry." Xiao Yezi gently wiped the tears from her mother's eyes. Wu Feng placed Xiao Yezi into O Qing's arms, and the mother and daughter hugged each other and cried on the ground. The female assassin's angry gaze was fixed on Wu Feng, but she couldn't utter a word. Wu Feng turned to Old Master O, saying, "Sir, the timing of the assassin's arrival was too coincidental." "Yes." Old Master O nodded. Thank goodness for you today, otherwise our O family would have been in real trouble. I mean, there must be someone within the O family who informed the assassin. Wu Feng said. What? Old Master O was greatly shocked. Wu Feng asked, where is the nanny? In an instant, Old Master O's expression changed. The usual nanny was extremely diligent and would always be cleaning in the living room. But today, from the appearance of the assassin to the kidnapping of Xiao Yezi, there was no trace of the nanny. Old Master O said, get someone to find the nanny for me. No need to look. Wu Feng pointed to the garage, the nanny's car has already left. Indeed. Old Master O was furious, immediately calling Hum and Ha. He issued direct orders to capture the nanny and increase security around the O family villa. O Qing returned upstairs with Xiao Yezi, while dozens of security guards guarded inside and outside the villa. Before they could interrogate the female assassin, they discovered she was already dead. In the backyard, two assassins with severed arms had stabbed each other's chests with their knives, perishing together. Of the four assassins, aside from the one killed by Wu Feng, the other three had all committed suicide. Zueixin shook his head and sighed, these people are truly desperate. O Qing descended the stairs and said, I recognize them. What's going on? Old Master O's eyes widened. O Qing said, they were the ones who drove me into the river on Linjiang Road before. Bang! Old Master O slammed his fist on the table. No matter who's behind them, my O family won't let them off. Wu Feng spoke up, they came for Xiao Yezi. It might be related to the strange illness Xiao Yezi has. This wasn't just a baseless claim by Wu Feng. From the initial car accident, to the nanny feeding Xiao Yezi sweets leading to her feigning death, and now luring assassins into the O family, it all seemed connected to Xiao Yezi. Old Master O nodded, from now on, Xiao Yezi will have round-the-clock protection, not leaving her side. Wu Feng nodded, if there's anything you need help with, just ask. Old Master O personally saw Wu Feng and Zueixin off. Before getting into the car, he patted Wu Feng's shoulder heavily, my O family owes you a great favor. No need to be polite, to find the person behind the assassin, perhaps we can start by investigating the tattoos on the arms of those assassins, Wu Feng said. Alright, thank you very much. Old Master O nodded heavily, waving goodbye. As the car departed from the O family villa, Zueixin couldn't help but ask curiously, Master, there isn't actually a paralysis point on the human shoulder. How did your needle render that female assassin immobile? Wu Feng smiled, let me ask you, how many acupoints are there in the human body? Zueixin replied, the human body has a total of 720 acupoints, with 402 used in medicine, 108 vital acupoints, and 36 fatal acupoints. Wu Feng shook his head, the true number of acupoints in the human body is 1024. Is this recorded in the Nine Needle Sutra? Zueixin asked. Yes. Wu Feng nodded. Zueixin subconsciously swallowed, this is truly miraculous. Would you like to learn? Wu Feng asked. Zueixin solemnly replied, I dare not covet, dare not speculate, dare not overstep, I only wish to accompany my master and serve diligently. Ha ha ha. Wu Feng laughed. That night after returning home, Wu Feng sent the photos of the tattooed arms of the assassins he had taken to Black War, asking for help in investigating. The next morning, as soon as Wu Feng woke up, he received a call from his fifth sister, Wen Yue. Wen Yue had been serving as the principal of Yi City Private University, a beautiful woman with a sweet voice but few words. Wu Feng, why did you divorce? Your fifth sister is worried about you. Wen Yue's voice was gentle and sweet. Wu Feng chuckled, fifth sister, I've been happily divorced. No need to worry about me. Wen Yue smiled, sister did promise to introduce 10 beautiful university flowers to you. Wu Feng shook his head, fifth sister, stop teasing. Wen Yue said, sister wasn't teasing you, one of our university's beautiful flowers from the senior class is interning in Qin City today, I thought it would be a good opportunity for you to meet her. Wu Feng straightened up, fifth sister, let's forget about that, I'm a divorced man. Wen Yue interrupted him, she'll arrive at 10, I've already given her your contact information. Don't think of it as a blind date, just consider it making a new friend. How did it turn into a blind date? Wu Feng felt embarrassed. Ha ha. Wen Yue laughed from the other end of the phone. Sister is hanging up now, make the most of it. Before Wu Feng could refuse, the call had already ended. Opening WeChat, indeed, there was a beautiful woman who had added him. Wu Feng clicked to accept her request, and the girl immediately sent a location. Big brother, I'm Xia Xia, a student of Principal Wen. It's my first time in Qin City. Could you come pick me up? No problem. Wu Feng replied, and after getting dressed, he went downstairs to prepare to drive out. Suddenly, he remembered that the Land Rover was being repaired at the Fourth Son's shop. And Mu Jiajia's Porsche had an odd-even license plate restriction. Seventh sister Su Xianyan had taken the BMW out for shopping in the morning. After weighing his options, Wu Feng called a Didi and headed to the train station.